Next few minutes with celebrations in South Korea ringing in the new year. Stay tuned for a spectacular fireworks display.
Yeah, so tens of thousands are gathering at the Bangkok Pavilion in central Seoul for their New Year's countdown ceremony, which is at midnight, which is not far from midnight there, because obviously we're many hours behind them.
Well, exactly. It's about 30 seconds now until they will bong the bronze bell. Yes, at midnight, by tradition, this bell is struck 33 times. It's a tradition that's rooted in Buddhist cosmology. It symbolises the 33 heavens. So we're expecting to see these 33 resonant chimes that are all believed to dispel misfortune and welcoming peace and prosperity for the year ahead.
Exactly. So the chimes, exactly right. They're meant to be doing that. See, I was saving that bit for me, but fair enough. You just read it all. Why not?
Is that where we give away that this was actually written in front of us and that wasn't knowledge?
Is it not time? Is it not? Have we gone over? We haven't gone over yet.
I don't think so. I think we're just waiting for it all to start. Being told in my ear that we're almost there, and the chimes
Here we go.
are beginning.
From that, so it's hit it, then you're holding the thing. I imagine there's a lot of reverb, and then you're going to be shaking, and you've got another one to do.
Yeah, for those listening on the radio, this is 6 men, no, 6 people, rather.
Yeah, there's a woman in there.
Whacking the most enormous sort of, what would you call that?
Well, it looks
almost
like
a battering ram, isn't it?
It does. It looks like, what do you call this? It looks like a cannon that they're holding.
And it's suspended by metal chains, and they're whacking it into this bell. They're going to do this 33 times.
They're not whacking, they're sort of...
I've got to say, I was expecting some fireworks, maybe, something a bit more exciting. I get this is traditional, and I'm sure that there are people that find this very, very meaningful indeed. I have to say I prefer the fireworks.
Are you poo-pooing their ceremony? Look, this is what they do.
I wouldn't dare.
They do it every time. This is something they do 33 of these. They've got, I think we've done about 7 of them. So this is going to go on for a while.
Goodness me, it's thrilling television.
In the Buddhist cosmology. You know, these are the 33 heavens, so every time they do it,
they
have to pause a little bit because the thing is very, very shaky.
Absolutely.
It probably hurts them as
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, it's probably very... I hope they're wearing earplugs. I mean, if you think Big Bell is a Big Ben... Sorry, if you think Big Ben is a big bell, that's nothing on this particular Bangkok Pavilion in central Seoul. Well, there we have it. That's how South Korea are literally ringing in the new year. As I say, I think if I were to compare this one, of the ceremonies we've seen so far, New Zealand, Australia, South Korea, I think New Zealand and Australia sort of slightly win, I have to say, in my book.
Well, I think that this is quite symbolic, though, isn't it, for them? And it's the symbolism in it. We just get a load of fireworks, chuck them in the sky and go, yeah, Happy New Year! Yep. And we spend millions on these. I mean, I wonder how much it cost Sydney to do that. And they went on for like 15 minutes. Here, this is just a couple of people getting together. They have this here. It's already paid for. This is, they just rolled it out again, and they do it every year to just get everybody to come along.
Do you think
it's a lot cheaper.
Do you think we should cancel the London fireworks and just ring Big Ben a bit?
That would be a good idea.
Save some money. It's an austerity-inspired New Year's celebration.
These are the 33 heavens, which is why they're ringing them. Now, I think it's, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, where does this rank in terms of celebrations?
I mean, I've seen more exciting celebrations. Look, I don't want to sound like I'm besmirching the Buddhist traditions, but I mean, the whole thing about Buddhism is it's very Zen, isn't it? It's all very, it's inner peace and mindfulness. I don't want any inner peace on New Year. I want loud celebrations. I think they're swapping over the bell ringers. Goodness me.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Truly thrilling.
That's what I was saying, because the thing is, you can see that it's really heavy. It's suspended by chains. Every time it hits that bong, there must be like a reverb, like a vibration for the transmitting of the power back through to the thing, and their hands must be shaking.
Sure.
And then you come down the step, and some people are probably falling down the step after they've rung the bell because they're still shaking.
Me.
So they've had to change over.
While we listen to these 33 bell bongs in South Korea, in Seoul, I have to say I am looking forward a little bit more to the London celebrations, which are now, what are they, 9 hours away, which we will, of course, be showing in full here on GB News, and they're expected to, as always, centre Around the Millennium Wheel, the London Eye, as it's commonly referred to. I don't know why I couldn't remember the word. London Eye. I'm just transfixed by this almost mesmerising, hypnotic bell ringing.
Well, that's the whole point of it, isn't it? That's the whole point of it. The 33 heavens are opening up, and then
turning our brains to mush.
All these people just falling into it. I don't know. But look, I think it's wonderful to see the different ways that people celebrate New Year's Eve. I've never ever seen this before.
No.
I find it fascinating that we've gone down there to have a look at it.
Yeah.
And
I think I know why I've never seen it before.
Why?
It's not particularly interesting.
Don't be so horrible. Listen, Tom Harwood.
Yes.
You should be ejected from your seat and respect other countries' celebrations.
Oh no, I can respect the celebration without thinking this is, sort of the most exciting. I think of all of the different, we're going to see a lot of countries over the course of the next few hours as the globe spins, as 2026 rolls in across different countries and different capitals. I think we'll be able to rank these different ceremonies. I'm not sure this one will come near the top.
No, it means a lot to the people there, and they're bringing in the New Year. This is a very symbolic celebration. The bongs that you're hearing, if you just tuned in, this is GB News. We are live. We are live in South Korea. I didn't say that.
No, I was trying to make it.
Oh, I see what you were doing.
Yeah.
Listen, I was being serious about this because we're live in South Korea. Thousands, tens of thousands of people have gathered to watch this at the Bosniak Pavilion. It is in central Seoul. It is their New Year's countdown ceremony at midnight, because of course it's midnight there. And the bronze bell, they're going to strike this 33 times. I've lost count.
I've lost it. Well, shall we come off the bonging for now?
No.
We'll let you know if they do reach that magic number of 33. But back here in Blighty, Mr Nigel Farage has used his New Year message to attack the Labour Party and the Conservatives. As he said, Reform is the only party that's offering hope and change.
Yes, Mr Farage criticised both parties for their treatment of controversial activist Ala Abdel Fattah. Have a listen.
If we go on voting for the same old parties, I promise you, nothing will change. Think, just in the last few days, of the El Fattah case. Here's a guy that's come out of Egypt, come back to Britain, who's put out just the most abominable, hateful tweets about killing Jews, killing white people, fighting the police. And this man was given citizenship by the Conservative Party and welcomed back into Britain by the Labour Party. Frankly, there is little to choose between the two. We're the people offering hope. We're the people offering change. And 2025 showed you, with those county elections, which we won comfortably, what we are capable of. As we look forward to 2026, we have a massive set of elections. The whole of Scotland, the whole of Wales, all 32 London boroughs, county elections, thousands of council seats all over the country. And yet what are we now seeing? We're seeing a Labour government saying to those councils, if you want to cancel the elections, in some cases for the second year in a row, you can do so.
Well, Nigel Farage featured prominently in the Liberal Democrat leader Sir Ed Davies' New Year message too. For his part, Sir Ed promised to take the fight to the Reform leader.
Protecting our environment, fixing the NHS and social care, these are our battles. As well as standing up to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, taking the fight to Nigel Farage and winning. And we can win again in 2026 in Scotland, Wales and across England to stop Trump's America becoming Farage's Britain and change our country for the better. So from all of us at the Liberal Democrats, I hope you have a happy and hopeful new year. Let's make it a good one.
And Scotland's First Minister, John Swinney, quoted Robbie Burns
Who else?
as he urged people to be kind to each other.
Our public services, our charities and community groups, volunteers, families and friends, we are all here for each other. The holidays are the perfect time to reach out to those around us, to ring up an old friend or check on a neighbour. As Robert Burns said, to tack a cup of kindness so that we all come a little closer together. These are the things that make an area into a community. These are the things that make Scotland, Scotland.
Well, that was John Swinney speaking at Bute House in Edinburgh.
Interesting that he quoted Robbie Burns, urging people to be kind to each other. So that was nice.
Yeah, it's a very New Year's thing to do, is it not? Well, now to the government's latest plan to, quote-unquote, solve the migrant crisis.
And asylum seekers are to be housed in newly built council homes as part of the push to end the use of migrant hotels.
Well, up to 200 local authorities are said to be keen on the scheme. Last year, 1.33 million, 1.33 million people were on the waiting list for social housing in England. That's the highest number since 2014.
Well, we're joined by Reform MP Lee Anderson. Lee Anderson, welcome to the programme. Look, Lee, so more council houses, but it sounds like they're going to asylum seekers.
Yeah, well, Nana, hello, Nana. Happy New Year. And
Happy New Year.
In Ashfield alone, we've got about 7,000 people on the council house waiting list. It's been like that for many, many years. And to suggest that asylum seekers, and let's be honest, a lot of these aren't genuine asylum seekers, they're illegal migrants crossing the channel and getting loads and loads of freebies in our country. To suggest, though, that these are going to go to the top of the queue above the residents, the born and bred Ashfield residents in my constituency, is absolutely disgusting. They should not be given any form of social housing until every single person on the council house waiting list in every constituency in the country has a choice of housing. It is that simple.
I mean, it does seem extraordinary that the government almost wants to sell this as a win. Say, look, we've closed down the asylum hotels. They've got this pledged. By the end of the Parliament, there will be no asylum hotels. I can readily believe them. There may well not be. But my goodness me, do they think it's a win if they end up in council houses instead?
You're quite right, Tom. You're quite right. And when they talk about smashing the business model, these idiots in Parliament, this actually adds to the business model, because the people smugglers will say, have no fear. Once you've been in your 4-star hotel, 3 square meals a day, Wi-Fi and customer complaints form, have no fear, because you would then go straight to the top of the local council house waiting list. It's another part of the pull factor for the migrants crossing the channel. It's disgusting.
But I thought that the allocation of council houses was determined by the council. So the council, surely the councils can prioritise. I mean, I don't think migrants should be getting council houses at all. I think we need to stop them from coming in the first place. But we are where we are. So I thought councils made the decision as to who'd be prioritised for the homes.
Well, it goes on. Unfortunately, these days, social housing, Nana, whether you agree with me or not, it goes on need rather than suitability. And they will look at some of these illegal migrants or so-called asylum seekers here. Many of them won't be working. If they are working, they'll be on low pay. So they sort of get bumped to the top of the social housing list, when normal, decent, hard-working young people who've done the right thing, you know, their parents have probably done the right thing, the grandparents probably fought in the war for this country, they've got absolutely no chance again the council house, again that leg up what you need when you're a young person in this country, especially when rents are so high.
But that is the point, because this absolutely takes the biscuit. I mean, the amount of money that people who are renting or trying to get on the housing ladder, or who have just got on the housing ladder, naming no Tom Harwoods, is absolutely infuriating. On my way into work, I pass so many different areas of council and social housing that are in much more desirable locations than I live, and I know I'm not only paying for my house, I'm paying for all of those too. And so many of them are going to relatively recent arrivals in this country.
It's disgraceful.
Well, you're quite right, Tom. I mean, we see some of the migrants living in London, in parts of London, which, quite frankly, you know, as an MP, I get my housing paid for in London, by the way. but on an MP's wage, which is pretty good, I wouldn't be able to afford to live in certain parts of London where people not born in this country coming over on a boat or wherever, they come straight out of the hotel and put into social housing. And quite frankly, I couldn't afford it, and none of my residents in Ashfield could afford to live in these certain parts of London. It's unfair on the British public. And once again, it's this government and the government previously putting migrants above the British people. It's disgusting.
Lee Anderson, thank you very much. Happy New Year to you too. Really good to talk to you.
Well, we're gonna hand over to Martin Daubney. Martin might be able to have a word with Lee, I'm not sure.
No,
but the reason why we've been talking now is because the whole of Westminster has been shut down for the fireworks display.
Martin's been stuck in traffic.
Martin has battled his way through the barriers. Martin, you made it into the heart of Westminster, the very bunker at the centre of all of this.
It's just unbelievable. All of the area is closed. We've become a nation of clipboards. No one's got a blooming clue what's going on. There's 10,000 high-vis vests. No one knows what the plan is. They've closed London off for the entire day. Everyone's turning the air blue hours before the fireworks, and Sadiq Khan's name is not being mentioned in kindness because London is absolutely chaotically gridlocked. And this is an event for tourists where the Mayor of London is charging hundreds of pounds to watch the fireworks. He's closing parks in Primrose Hill. You can't even watch them for free. You can't even walk into the area for free, even if you work here, like we do at GBNews. Utter calamity, and all down to the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. Happy New Year, Sir Sadiq. You made it completely miserable around here for everybody, apart from high fee-paying tourists. Rant over. Thank you, gentlemen, for taking care of the show and keeping me going. Then show I missed Lee Anderson there for his final appearance of the year. Thank you to all for getting in touch. Now, are we back in the right place? Speaking now with the chief political commentator at The Independent, John Rentoul. Is that happening? No? Let's get to the studio. Let's speak. We are doing that. John, Happy New Year. As you can hear, it's been a nice, calm start to the show.
Yeah, no, I've just listened to somebody ranting on about some fireworks. You against fireworks, are you, Martin?
I'm very in favour of fireworks. I'm in favour of them when they're free, because don't forget, Londoners pay a huge amount of tax and the council tax and all sorts of other taxes all year, courtesy of Sir Sadiq Khan. My point is, they've ring-fenced off all of London to stop anybody getting in unless you've paid a hugely expensive ticket, which I think is undemocratic and unfair. We pay so much taxes in this city anyway. The fireworks surely should be free. And no one's got a clue what's going on out there, and it just seems to be a city run by people who haven't got a Scooby-Doo.
No, never mind the fireworks. Ask me about politics.
Let's get back now to talk about politics. And I'm sorry for my unprofessional rant. I've literally just ran into the building, surrounded by 1,000 clipboards chasing me. John Rentoul, let's talk about the year ahead in politics. Gamble, do you want to talk about the reaction there to that the council house story, the incredible situation where 200 councils are offering free council houses to asylum seekers? This proves once again the British government's put the rights of asylum seekers before those of British citizens.
Well, no, I don't think that's quite right, Martin. But I mean, I do agree with what Nana said, which is that the fundamental problem is the failure to stop the boats. Because as long as you have people, undocumented people arriving in the sort of numbers that they are, then you are going to have this problem. And if you promise to close all the hotels, which is what the Labour government has done, then you've still got to put the people somewhere, and that means you've got to put them somewhere which other people might want to live in, such as social housing. And I think that's even, I mean, in many ways, that's worse than putting them in hotels.
OK, John, and could I also get your opinion on the end-of-year messages from the political leaders? Nigel Farage, let's start first with him, if we could. He seems to be putting out a very Donald Trumpian-style message, Elon Musk-style message. There's only one chance of saving the United Kingdom, and that's to vote for Reform UK at the next election.
Yeah, I thought he sounded a bit like the Liberal Democrats. Actually, it was a plague on both your houses. It was an attack on Conservatives and Labour equally. And what was interesting was that Ed Davey paid him the compliment in his New Year message of really having a go at Nigel Farage. I mean, it's almost as if the two old parties have knocked each other out and left Nigel Farage fighting it out with Zach Polansky and Ed Davey.
Do you think there's anything in this notion? I find it rather strange that Kemi Badenoch and Keir Starmer aren't releasing their end-of-year message until 10:30 this evening. Most people will be up to their neck in eggnog or staring out the window at fireworks. They won't care about what the Prime Minister and the Leader of Opposition have got to say at 10:30 tonight, will they?
You wouldn't have thought so, but maybe some people don't have enough to do between 10:30 and midnight. But you'd have to be at something of a loose end to watch those two, I would have thought.
Now, John Rentoul, could I get your political New Year's wish, if I could? What would you like to see happen in British politics in 2026? I'll go first, so you get a bit of time to think. I want all of the May elections to go ahead. I want more democracy. I want the politicians to be able to be told what the electorate think of them. I want the elections to go ahead. I want more opportunities for the public to engage with politics, less of the politicians thinking that they know best. What say you? What would you like to see happen in politics in 2026?
I would like to see the economy miraculously turning around and improving. I'd like to see the NHS be sorted out. I'm disappointed so far with Wes Streeting. I mean, he's had 18 months now and hasn't made significant progress. And I'd like to see the boats stopped. I'd like to see Shabana Mahmood get a grip on that situation. And if she doesn't get a grip on that situation, then I think this Labour government's finished.
OK, John Rentoul, thank you very much for your time today. Thanks for all your contributions this year on GBNews. I really appreciate them. And a very, very happy New Year. And sorry for some rude so-and-so ranting about men with clipboards.
You're entitled to your rant, Martin. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year to you. Let's get back to studio. It's Wednesday, of course. New Year's Eve is no different, which means it's Nigel Nelson joins me for 3 hours of ranting, although maybe you've had enough of that already. I'm also joined by Catherine Forster, of course, our senior political correspondent, who's been doing some excellent presenting work over the festive period. You're absolutely fantastic. Well done to you. Let's start with you, if we could, Nigel. Now, let's start on this council house story. OK. It really, I've got to say, looking at gbnews.com, I think this is one of the stories that's got people the most engaged of the entire year, and it's New Year's Eve. People are incandescent about this story. The notion that you can come to Britain illegally and be gifted a council house for free. You'll also be on benefits, TV licence, everything will be paid for. 5 councils have said they're definitely up for this, and 200 others are waiting to sign up. This is an absolute betrayal, is it not, of the British people who are waiting decades, sometimes 100 years for a council house?
No, it's not. And the reason it's not is the first thing is everybody complains as soon as migrants move in nearby. So the idea is to clear them out of hotels because people didn't want them in nearby hotels. Then the idea was to try and move migrants to disused army camps, and anybody who lived nearby protested furiously about that. This system would save a lot of money. It costs about £100 million for 900 homes, a lot of them derelict at the moment, and they'll be refurbished. So what is
Why won't they spend that money on sorting out British homeless people? Why won't they build these homes for the extensive, massive waiting list? There are 1.33 million British people already on waiting lists for social houses just in England. That's the highest in 11 years. How come they're suddenly building houses for people who come here on dinghies?
The houses will go into the social housing stock of the councils that actually build them. So they will be homes for other people once they've solved this crisis. But
they won't ever solve the crisis. Do you not think, seriously, no, do you not think that the people smugglers will not be saying, hey, look, these councils in Britain are building new houses for you. Come from Eritrea, come from Afghanistan, come from Syria, come all around the world. Look, everything is laid on the plate by this saint, Sir Keir Starmer.
Well, the people smugglers are doing that already. They've got some very sophisticated advertising out there to go and do just that. What you're talking about here is an alternative. You've got to house these people somewhere, and every time... Pardon?
Prisons.
Well,
build prisons, build containment camps.
First of all,
do what they did in Australia. That will soon stop it.
Even if you could start building prisons, that would take a long time.
Well, they can build houses.
Secondly,
they built Nightingale hospitals.
Secondly, that these are people who've not done anything wrong. Therefore, you don't stick them in prison.
A lot of people might think coming into a country illegally is doing something wrong.
We've had arguments about that before. None of these people would be prosecuted for coming into the country because they have a right to claim asylum.
What about tented containment centres? You build a lot of them for 100 million quid.
Yeah, but we're not
Well, they've done it in Germany.
We're not talking about well, they're not containment centres in Germany. The people there can actually go out. But yes, you can do that. There are a whole host of things you might be able to do. But at the moment, everything that we've tried, the British public's objected to, from the hotels to the army bases, and now we're objecting to finding them places to live.
Catherine Forster, let's bring you in. I think this is political suicide. I honestly think, in a year of dunderheaded politics, I think on New Year's Eve, this is the late candidate for the most cretinous idea of the year. Brand new spanking houses for people who come to the country illegally. They're on a different planet.
Well, the government will say a lot of them will be refurbished and it's going to save the taxpayers' money and you have to put them somewhere. But I think you're right in that it's the unfairness of this, isn't it? It's the fact you've got 1.3 million Brits on social housing waiting lists. People are breaking into the country. OK, as you say, when you arrive and you say, I claim asylum, then technically you're not doing anything wrong. But let's face it, they have broken into the country. They've made that crossing illegally. And then straight away, they get the dental treatment, they get the NHS treatment, they get put up in a hotel. Whatever the government do, wherever the government put them, people are going to be unhappy. What the government has to do is stop them coming in the first place. Now, we hear Shabana Mahmood talking very tough. They say they're going to learn lessons from Denmark, who have managed to get illegal migration down massively through being pretty unwelcoming. It will be really interesting to see how much of a leaf we actually take out of their book, because the government need to shift things quickly. And
I wonder if Brighton and Hove, Hackney, Peterborough, Thanet, they're all Labour ran, and Powys, we'll speak to a councillor from Powys in Wales later in the show. That's Labour and Liberal Democrat. I wonder how many people in those areas would like to vote in May and tell them what they think of ideas like this. I think it's an astonishing thing. I really, really do. Just when you thought you couldn't get any worse, I think this is it takes the biscuit, I think, for the most anti-British idea of the entire year. And we're discussing that throughout the rest of the show. Thank you, guys, for holding the fort while I got here. I'll have a cup of tea in the break. This is the biggest night of the year, of course, for pubs. It should be, but how many of them will still be open in 12 months' time after Labour hiked our business rates this year? And viewers can see live pictures now from Beijing at 4 p.m, around about 35 minutes' time. 4 o'clock will show you how China rings in the new year. It already looks spectacular. It'll be a visual feast, and I suppose they'll care about the carbon footprint of it. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun. No, he didn't say that, Dave. I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Dubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back to it's 3:29. We're at Beijing there now. China, of course, they're about to launch their fireworks at 4 p.m. The Chinese, they don't do it in half measures. They don't care about the carbon footprint. They don't care about saving money. They don't care about fencing cities off. Beijing, there you can see they have a traditional drum roll around about 3:30, we believe, any moment's time now. And then a fireworks extravaganza expected at the top of the hour, 4 p.m, of course. GMT, midnight in Beijing, when they'll see in the new year in Chinese style. We'll come back to those pictures for more when it starts to kick off. Now, as people get ready this evening to ring in the new year, pubs across the country are gearing up for their busiest night of the year, and by Jove, don't they need it. But the celebrations came with a warning today. Venues face paying an extra £32,000 in business rates over the next 3 years, raising fears of closures. Well, we're joined now by a familiar face on GB News, the landlord, great friend of the show, landlord of the Three Colts in Essex, Adam Brooks. And you've banned Labour Party MPs from your boozer, Adam. I mean, a lot of people might not blame you for doing that. Tell us why.
No, I've got the sticker in the window. I've joined, I think, about 1,000 other publicans up and down the country, barring Labour MPs. It's a protest movement. They are killing our trade. The Conservatives weren't very kind to us, but Labour seem intent on finishing off. The national insurance contributions hike was a disaster for us, the first budget. And now we're seeing business rates, mine are jumping by about 50% next year. It's the lies. You know, they stand up in Parliament and say that they want to help hospitality, but we've seen hundreds of thousands of jobs lost from this trade, from this industry. And 2026 is going to be a very challenging year. I've had a great Christmas. I couldn't be happier. My customers have seen a beautiful Christmas in this pub. The tills have been ringing, but January and February are going to be very tough. And I just urge your viewers, please go and support your local pub. You know, we're not some sort of millionaires. We're not these big entrepreneurs that are throwing our money around with Rolls Royces. We're local businessmen, and our pubs are the heart of the local community.
Adam, you and I have been speaking about the position of pubs really since lockdown, since 2020, and we thought year after year it couldn't get any worse, but it seems to just be horrible year after horrible year. And I was astonished to find out, maybe this doesn't astonish you, one pub closed every single day in 2025. 366 pubs were either demolished or converted in the year. And Adam, when you talk to buddies of yours in the trade, do you think next year might see an improvement, or are we bracing ourselves for more of the same?
Unfortunately, I know a few that are giving up January, February. You know, they're seeing in the new year and they've had enough. Publicans that have been doing this decades and are far better publicans than me, Martin. You know, these are the cream of the crop and they've had enough. It's just not worth doing it anymore. And they firmly put that at the door of Rachel Reeves. Her two budgets have absolutely killed us. She's added about 35 to 40,000 in extra costs to my pub. It's a small backstreet pub. You've been here. You know, it's not some big high road establishment. This is a small backstreet pub. How can people survive? I'm on WhatsApp groups of restaurateurs, publicans, cafe owners, and they are just pulling their hair out. And it is all down to this government the last 18 months. As I say, the Conservatives were bad, but this lot are it looks intentional. It looks like they're trying to destroy the pub trade.
Adam, I've been to Three Colts a couple of times, as you know, and your mum pours an absolutely cracking pint. I'm almost licking my lips now. I wish I was there. But on a serious point, what would you like to see done? I mean, national insurance hikes, the minimum wage hikes, the workers' rights bill, the fact you're expected to police banter at the bar. Why can't politicians just get out of businesses when they clearly don't need to? They clearly don't understand how to run one.
Look, this Labour government have shown their authoritarian colours. They want to control every aspect of our lives. And as I say, the Conservatives work much better. But these are making the Tories look like saints at the moment, Martin. What I would like to see, and what many people in hospitality are just asking for, a simple VAT cut, like what we see across Europe. Their VAT rate is like 10 or 12%. We're expected to collect 20% for HMRC and the Treasury. Now, that keeps prices high. That means our cash flow is affected. I mean, the bills that we have for VAT every quarter are tens of thousands of pounds. We are basically a tax collecting service for HMRC. How can we get on with our business if the majority of our pint is through tax? As I say, I earn about 15p for every pint that people buy in this pub. 15p profit. Now, look, I lay the door, the freeholder of my pub, my rent is high, and a lot of the breweries are charging high rents. That hurts, but we're not helped by government. When you think of how much tax we collect, why are we being prosecuted so much by a government? Because you cannot collect taxes from a closed business, especially a closed pub. Rachel Reeves needs to know that. Give us a VAT cut and watch us. We led the economy out of the doldrums from COVID, and we can do it again. Just let us do it. Let us trade.
Adam Brooks, I want to thank you for your contribution to the channel. Thank you to your contribution to hospitality. Thank you for all you do. You're a wonderful man. I wish you the very, very best of business tonight and for the rest of the new year in 2026. You're a gentleman. Great talk to you. Hope you have a fantastic night and a new year. Thank you very much, Adam Brooks.
Same to you, Martin. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. There's more still to come between now and 4 p.m, including with digital ID moving closer, facial recognition cameras on every British high street, and even drones spying on the sides of your houses to gauge them for property tax. I'll ask, have we just lived through 2025 or slipped through the porthole into 1984? And viewers can see live pictures on your screen now from Beijing. Of course, magnificent pictures there at 4 p.m. British time. We'll show you how China rings in the new year as it turns midnight in Beijing. That's coming soon. We'll also have lots on the UK's New Year's Eve celebrations a little bit later in this hour. Hopefully, we won't talk any more about Sadiq Khan's Ring of Steel around London. It's total mayhem out there. But first, here's your headlines, and it's Sam Francis.
Very good afternoon to you. Shortly after 3:30, the top stories. A nurse injured in yesterday's hospital attack in Merseyside says she was nearly beaten to death and is lucky to be alive. 28-year-old Meg Lynch was struck with a metal bar at Newton Community Hospital. Police say a 20-year-old Afghan man has been detained under the Mental Health Act. All 6 victims, though, are now in a stable condition. Eurostar services have returned to normal today after chaos in the Channel Tunnel left tens of thousands stranded. All services are planned to run, but passengers are being warned of delays and last-minute cancellations after a power fault and a broken-down train. More than 500 new ambulances are being rolled out across England in what the NHS calls its biggest fleet upgrade in years. The £75 million investment includes upgraded navigation and safety systems. The Health Secretary says it will speed up response times. The Queen has paid tribute to racing commentator John Hunt and his daughter Amy, whose family were murdered in a domestic attack last year. Speaking on Radio 4, Queen Camilla said their loved ones would be so proud, also revealing she was attacked on a train as a teenager. And back to those live pictures from Beijing, where China is welcoming in the new year with a countdown and a drum performance along the Great Wall. It follows a spectacular fireworks display in Sydney, though celebrations there were tempered by sadness after the Bondi Beach attack earlier this month. Back here, meanwhile, in the UK, the Met Office says that it'll be cold but mostly dry for fireworks, with strong winds and hail expected in parts of Scotland. Those are the headlines. I'll have a full roundup for you at 4.
For all the latest from GB News whilst you're on the go, get the GB News app. Scan the QR code now to download or visit gbnews.com/app.
4 News. 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 4
Hello again, I'm here with your GB News weather update coming to you from the Met Office. As we head into the new year, we have strengthening winds in the north and plenty of showers pushing through, some of them turning to snow. Meanwhile, further south, it's a fine end to the year. That's because we still have the influence of high pressure to the northwest of the UK, albeit that influence is retreating away. So through the rest of New Year's Eve, across central southern parts of England and Wales, staying fine, perhaps some early frost as we go through the evening and the start of the night in some southern parts, and some fog and freezing fog reforming. A different story further north, however. As we head towards midnight, we're going to continue to see plenty of showers pushing in, strong winds. We're talking gusts of 60 to 70 miles per hour for Orkney and Shetland and the far north of Scotland, and showers also feeding into parts of Northern Ireland and northern England too, some of them falling as snow, mainly over the hills and mountains of Scotland. For central southern England and Wales, it's staying largely fine as we head into the new year, but cloud will be feeding its way southwards. The winds will be picking up, and so temperatures actually in the south will be picking up a little bit. And so for many, by the time we wake up on New Year's Day, well, it's going to be a few degrees above freezing in many places. As we go through New Year's Day itself, there is a band of outbreaks of rain, maybe something a bit wintry, pushing across parts of Northern Ireland and central southern parts of England and Wales, but the greater risk of seeing some fairly frequent snow showers will be across parts of Scotland, particularly towards the north. We're likely to see some snow building up, even some icy patches. For all, though, it is going to be a cold feeling day. There'll be some brisk winds around, and that will make it feel pretty chilly indeed, despite the fact that there'll be quite a bit of sunshine around. A similar story as we go through the end of the day. Plenty of showers piling in from the north, and these will continue as we go through the end of the week and into the weekend. So it really does look like it's going to be quite wintry for those exposed to that northerly wind.
Thank you, Britain, for helping us reach 10 million followers across our social media platforms. We're truly honoured to have your trust, one follower at a time.
Good afternoon. This is the latest AI travel news from GBNews.com. Road users should take extra care on the A9 Daubney Bridge, where high winds are making the crossing particularly tricky, especially for high-sided vehicles and vulnerable traffic. In both directions on the A458, from Llanfair Carinian to the Raven Inn roundabout, an incident is causing disruption and local diversions are in place, with delays likely during peak periods. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has major engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton or Rugby, while Cross Country has major engineering work in the Cambridge area and disruption between Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
It's 3:41 now. You can get pictures on your screen now. Live picture from Hong Kong this time. Hong Kong, because at 4 p.m. it turns midnight there. And we'll show you how the former British colony rings in the new year. Magnificent skyscraper there lit up in LED lights. Fireworks will be exploding all around that. They'll ring in the same time as their good friends in China. Just next door, Beijing, of course, same time zone. Let's flip back to Beijing if we can. Beijing, they are having a drum roll performance imminently. And of course, then the fireworks in Beijing also at 4 p.m. our time, around about 19 minutes time. Well, we have to take our pick. We'll show you both, in fact. You'll be spoiled for choice. You'll have Beijing and Hong Kong in about 19 minutes time. And don't forget also, we'll also have coverage later on of our own fireworks in London, if they ever get around to going through those steel barriers outside. New Year's Eve coverage with Bev Turner, Ben Leo, Alex Armstrong, Miriam Cates and Darren Grimes, bringing the new year with us in style, live here on GB News. OK, time now for the Great British Giveaway. And with 26 just around the corner, imagine having 85 grand in tax-free cash. Here's how you could win it.
We want to make the new year your best year yet, with a chance to win our greatest cash prize to date. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to splash on anything you can dream of. Treat the family to that bucket list holiday you've always fancied. Get your dream car you've always wanted. Or just relax, safe in the knowledge that the coming year is on us. £85,000 is the biggest cash prize we've ever given away. It's totally tax-free, which means that every single penny of it will be yours. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
So here's a question for you as we see off 2025. Has 2025 become an authoritarian year to remember or indeed forget? Was 2025 actually the year when George Orwell's 1984 became reality? Well, I'm joined now in the studio by GBNews contributor and the External Affairs Officer at the Free Speech Union, Connie Shaw. Connie, welcome to the studio. Thanks for getting in past all the metal barriers. What a year it's been for what seems to be a government with an authoritarian twang.
Yes, so it has been a very busy year for the Free Speech Union. Your viewers may remember in 2020 was when Lord Young, now Toby Young, set up the Free Speech Union. He thought that we had hit rock bottom when it came to the state of free speech. Now, fast forward to 2025, we can imagine how bad things would get. We have trebled in membership size since Labour came into government. So that's 40% of all of our membership growth ever has happened in the last year. So before Labour came into power, we had 14,000 members. Now we have 41,000. So you may think that Starmer's quite useless at many things, but he's been an excellent recruitment sergeant for the Free Speech Union. And we've had many successes despite the horrific year. We've won compensation back for wrongful arrest for both Julian Fawkes, Maxie Allen and Rosalind Levine, £20,000 for them. We're suing the Met Police over the arrest of Graham Linehan at Heathrow Airport with 5 armed police officers. We managed to get his bail conditions lifted for that, and we also got him cleared of harassment for a separate case. Of course, we overturned Hamid Koskin's blasphemy conviction. Of course, the CPS are trying to get him found guilty for that again, for the crime of burning a copy of his own Quran in a peaceful protest outside the Turkish consulate. Jamie Michael, we represented him. He was acquitted in 17 minutes by a jury of 12 of his peers. Of course, now, if David Lammy gets his way, we don't know if Jamie Michael would have been heard by a jury and if he would have been found not guilty. However, non-crime hate incidents have been scrapped now. We're waiting to hear whether all previous records will be deleted, but that authoritarian, secretive records that can go against people's names for expressing their legal views, hopefully we are seeing the back end of that, and the Free Speech Union has been at the forefront of campaigning to end that.
And yet, Connie Shaw, 2026 may bring compulsory digital ID.
It may, but we're yet to see whether it will be necessarily a free speech issue. Obviously, we understand the concerns that people have. It will be really concerning for the Free Speech Union if it becomes something like a social credit system. Obviously, it's a very slippery slope, but we don't know yet when it comes to that issue. But I think we need to remember that for our Free Speech Union cases, only 1% of our cases ever get into the public eye. The vast majority of our cases, which has been over 5,000 in the last 5 years, 2,000 cases this year alone, are ordinary people getting in trouble at work for expressing their views. We have an 82% success rate when we see cases from start to finish. And so we'd urge everyone, there's no better time to join the Free Speech Union, join our campaigns against ending jury trials for speech offences, railing against that Islamophobia definition, and going into the new year, not dropping these campaigns, because this Labour government has been one of the most authoritarian we've seen in recent years.
Connie Shaw, thank you very much for battling through the security gates outside to get in to see us today in the studio. Nigel Nelson, quick word from you. Has to be said, a lot of people do think that this government has a real authoritarian streak to it. What's happening?
I'm not sure it has.
Really?
I mean, I think that the digital ID that you mentioned, the idea of that seems to be it'll be voluntary. Provided it is voluntary, I would certainly be in favour of that. On free speech stuff, we've got rid of non-crime hate incidents, and again, thanks to a lot of your campaigning. But we've got rid of that. That's happened under this.
But they were meant to be scrapped years ago when Harry Miller took the government to police over to court over that, and he won.
Yeah,
but they were meant to get rid of trans spaces in women's spaces when the Supreme Court ruled in April. They ignored that too. I put it to you.
Well, they didn't rule the Supreme Court. The changes that the Supreme Court made in women-only spaces are now coming in, and quite rightly so. So
what's taken them so long?
Well, I mean,
Bridget Phillipson is still resisting.
Court cases...
NHS trusts are still resisting.
Court cases take a while, and if you've got to start changing lavatories over in every single institution, that's going to take time.
OK, thank you, Nigel Nelson. Thank you once again, Connie Shaw, for joining us, and Happy New Year to you. I've got live pictures now from Hong Kong, of course, at 4 p.m. We'll show you how the country there rings in the new year. Hong Kong, 4 p.m, and also Beijing, 4 p.m. He doesn't like he's from Hong Kong. Let's move on now. If you're in search of some holiday sun, here's the forecast for some of the top European destinations.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries, all sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, are you heading away for the new year? Well, there is some unsettled weather, some cold weather across Europe, in fact. Storm Francis is bringing some very wet weather to the Canaries through New Year's Day and into the weekend, as well as parts of Spain and Portugal. Comparatively drier for more central areas, though it is colder than it usually is at this time of year. The good news is, though, as it turns colder for the UK, it will slowly start to warm up into next week in the east. Bye-bye.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
Well, pub bosses say they face financial ruin after Rachel Reeves' stealth tax raid in the budget as pint prices are ramped up, opening hours are cut and staff are laid off in desperate attempts to keep running.
So this morning we're asking, would you pay more for your pint to save local pubs?
Well, joining us now is pub owner Mark Bridgen and Communications Officer for the IEA, Reem Ibrahim. Really good to see you both this morning. Mark, let's start with you. We've spoken to you a lot about your lovely pub. Would you want people to pay more for a pint in order to save your business?
Well, it's looking like the only option. Yeah, with the increased taxes on every level and now the stress around rates increase and valuation agency, I don't know anyone that is making any money, so it feels like the only thing to do is to raise your prices. The irony is that actually at the moment many of us are actually putting down our prices to try and get people through the doors. You know, in a desperate bid to stay alive, we're having to, try and offer even more value.
Do you think the government is just tone deaf to the plight of our landlords of pubs and restaurants across the country?
They absolutely are. I mean, over 21,000 pubs have closed since 1980. That's half of that in the last 2 decades alone. So I really do think that the government have taxed, regulated, restricted pubs to the oblivion. But this is where I disagree with Mark. I don't think it's up to businesses themselves to say, you know what, we're going to remove our profit margins even further. We know that the hikes in national insurance contributions and increasing the minimum wage have a huge impact on small businesses.
GB News, the People's Channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Welcome back. Now, viewers can see live pictures on your screen now from Beijing, of course, in China at 4 p.m, around about 7 minutes' time. We'll show you how China rings in the new year. And, of course, we'll also have live pictures from Hong Kong, same time zone, neighbours. That's about all they've got in common, though. Now, moving back, though, to Blighty. Thousands are expected to descend on London tonight for the capital's firework display to celebrate New Year's Eve. But if you're hoping to head to Primrose Hill, well, you'll be disappointed, because as you can see on your screen now, the entire area has been fenced off. Around 30,000 people were there as the clock struck midnight 12 months ago. Of course, it's a regular tourist attraction in London, but the Mayor of London has decided this year to fence the entire thing off because they say they can't make it secure or police it. Locals are utterly furious. It'll be closed tonight. Well, GB News' national reporter Will Godley is in Hampstead Heath for us. Will Godley, a lot of Londoners are utterly furious that places are being cordoned off and you have to spend a fortune on a ticket to get into London at the mercy of Sadiq Khan tonight.
Well, Martin, yeah, a lot of those people who would have been at Primrose Hill might be coming here instead. Another viewpoint, take a look at the skyline behind me of London, where it will be lit up tonight with fireworks.
Sounds there like a firework just went off on Will Godley's microphone. Let's keep the visuals going. I can talk through that. I know that area well. So Hampstead Heath there is a southeastern suburb of London. It's on a bit of high land. It looks out over the city of London. So basically, if you go there for free, you can look over London and see the fireworks for free. People have done it for years and years and years. Take a hamper, take a flask of something warm, or perhaps a few cans or bottles of something cold, and you can enjoy the fireworks in peace. This year, you can do it at Hampstead Heath, but Primrose Hill has been closed. Will Godley, can we get back to you now, Will?
Yeah, Martin, sorry about that. Fireworks might have been causing some issues with the microphone here. We can speak to some people now who are here for New Year's. You come all the way from America. Happy New Year. How are you enjoying London so far?
I love it. It's one of my favourite places in the world. Yeah.
And you're here with your students. What are you teaching them?
I'm teaching them sociology and criminology, exploring the dark side in London, war and crime.
Awesome. And you're here for New Year's. What have you got planned?
We are planning actually to just stay in the Mayfair Washington Hotel and watch the fireworks from TV.
Amazing. Well, Happy New Year to all of you. Lots of people gathering here to enjoy their New Year celebrations, going off to enjoy things, but many people predicted to come here and enjoy the fireworks later on as well, Martin.
Well, Will Godley, coming to London to study criminology and crime. They've come to the right place. Superb stuff. Will Godley, thank you for your time. Of course, we'll come back to you later throughout the show. Now, gear up, because we'll be crossing soon to Beijing, to Hong Kong, to see how they see in the new year. Live pictures there from Hong Kong. We'll be in Hong Kong and China as they ring in midnight. That's next on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for the thousands of you who are becoming friends of GB News every week.
You're not only watching and listening to our programmes, you're becoming part of them too.
Good afternoon, this is the latest AI travel news from GBnews.com. Road users should take care on the A9 Dornoch Bridge, where high winds are making crossing tricky. On the A458, both ways between Landfair Carinian and Raven Inn roundabout, an incident is causing disruption, with diversions in place. On the A1 northbound, between the A69 and the junction with the A696 near Newcastle upon Tyne, a collision has closed 2 of 3 lanes, with delays of around 15 minutes. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton or Rugby, while Cross Country reports engineering work near Cambridge and disruption between Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
We want to make the new year your best year yet, with a chance to win our greatest cash prize to date. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Treat the family to that bucket list holiday you've always fancied. Get your dream car you've always wanted. Or just relax, safe in the knowledge that the coming year is on us. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus us to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
A very good afternoon to you and a happy New Year's Eve. Welcome to the Martin Daubney Show here on GB News, broadcasting live across the UK. All the very latest news, debates, analysis all the way through until 6 p.m. We've got live pictures on your screen now from Beijing in China. As we approach midnight, that's in China. That's just a few seconds away. Let's quickly cross now to Hong Kong. Of course, neighbouring to Beijing there. They're just about to strike in midnight in Hong Kong. They have a huge tower block there where they have fireworks behind it. We've also got Taiwan. Let's go to Taiwan. They are also seeing in their New Year at the same time. 3 fireworks displays, 25 seconds away. We'll have full coverage from all of them. Looks like it's raining cats and dogs there in Taiwan. You can see with 49 seconds there from countdown as they see in midnight across the Eastern time zone. Very, very happy New Year's Eve to you. I hope you're building up now. It's just how long now? 8 hours now until the big countdown in Britain. But the countdown has already begun, of course, across various time zones. Let's get back now. We've got live pictures for you. I believe we're going first to Beijing. Beijing is about to ring in midnight, and also Hong Kong, and also Taiwan. Let's try and get some live pictures. This is Hong Kong, seconds away. Let's listen. Hong Kong there, of course. That is the skyscraper there, which has now become a huge technicoloured LED screen set up in itself. Fireworks about to go off behind. Let's go to Taiwan next. Taiwan, of course, in the same time zone. Fireworks, as you can see there, are underway in Taiwan. Let's take a little listen into that.
爱心造型烟火，象征以微笑迎接新年，用爱照亮未来，为2066年揭开最灿烂的序幕。是的，请大家把握这个时间。
Let's cross now. I think we're going next to Beijing. Beijing, China, of course, is also seeing in New Year's Eve midnight as we speak. There's the traditional huge drum procession. As part of it, it goes back centuries. This is the drum performance and the countdown. This is on the Great Wall of China, and the fireworks go after this. I think we're imminent for the fireworks in Beijing. Let's go back to Taiwan now. The fireworks in Taiwan are already well underway there at the Taipei 101 tower. The fireworks go off of this tower. They're all set up along one of the highest points in Taiwan. So the fireworks are elaborately set up all along that tower block. They blast off at all angles, as you can see, lighting the sky. It can be seen for, look at that spectacular pyrotechnic display. That can be seen for miles around. I wonder if in Taiwan they've fenced it off so only high ticket paying people can get it. I'm still moaning about London here. Just found out it's 190 quid to get to see the fireworks in London. Why? Should be free. Think about how much money we pay in London for council tax. Magnificent display there, look, in Taiwan. Let's get back now. Should we stick on Taiwan? Nigel Nelson, let's bring you, and you're sitting there, you're grinning away. I want to get back to my point about why are we expected to pay £190 to watch fireworks in London? Why is London being ringed off by the Mayor of London? Why shouldn't the firework display be a right for every Londoner to walk in and see for free?
Which it used to be.
Yeah.
And there have been vantage points in London where you can see it from, and we know that Primrose Hill is now closed. 30,000 people there last year were able to go there. Now, because of cutbacks in the Parks Police, well, that's the excuse for it anyway, now that's shut off. So, and as you pointed out, that central London at the moment is a bit like we've just gone to war, that everywhere you find barriers and people being stopped going about their business. I've never seen it quite like this before, so I don't know why it has got suddenly so bad.
Live pictures on there on the screen of Taiwan. As I said, the tower there, the Taipei 101 tower, is the centrepiece of the pyrotechnics. They're all strapped, as it were, to that tower. Let's go to Hong Kong now. Hong Kong next, of course, in the same time zone. Again, the central tower there is lit up with just acres and acres of LED screens. The displays on that have become as famous as the fireworks themselves, one of the most Instagrammable fireworks centres of that part of the world. I think we can also get some pictures from Beijing. They have the traditional drum ceremony going on there on the Great Wall of China ahead of the pyrotechnics. Here it is. That is Beijing, and we'll go back to that if any more pyrotechnics kick off. Let's get back now to the studio and let's get on to some politics. Of course, we'll be going to different time zones throughout the rest of the show. Thailand, Bangkok at 5 p.m. is our next port of call on your global fireworks tour. But back to Blighty now. And I think this is a story that I've seen get GBNews viewers going this year like perhaps few other stories, and it's a late contender for the most outrageous story of the year in many of your eyes. It's the government's latest plan to solve the migrant crisis, and this time asylum seekers are to be housed in freshly built brand new council homes as part of the push to end the use of migrant hotels. Up to 200 local authorities are said to be keen on the scheme, and last year, remember, 1.33 million people were on a waiting list for social housing in England alone, and that's the highest number since 2014. Over 1.3 million Brits waiting for a house, but if you come into Britain and you're an asylum seeker, even if you come in illegally on a dinghy, well, you could be walking straight into a fresh new build. Well, I'm joined in the studio by GB News' chief political correspondent, Catherine Forster. And I'm also joined, because it's Wednesday, even on New Year's Eve, by our senior political commentator, Nigel Nelson. Let's get some reaction from the pair of you. Catherine, I'm going to start with you this time. It's absolutely got GB News viewers going. This one, I think, in a way I haven't seen since the Axel Rutter-Cabana story broke. People are utterly furious with the notion that many of our own viewers are posting their stories there, Catherine. I know you're about to share some with us about their own plights, their own waiting lists, their own despondency, their own desperation to try and get a council house, often infested with rats, with damp, cold, cramped conditions, and they're incandescent at the notion you can come to Britain, aboard a dinghy, and in 200 council areas, rock into a new build.
Yes, exactly. And I think it's about fairness, isn't it? It's about what people see as a lack of fairness, that, you know, we've got over 1 million of our own people on waiting lists, and people break into the country illegally, and lo and behold, they're either in a quite nice hotel, NHS treatment, dental treatment, everything is sorted for them, or when they're in private rental accommodation, or now potentially in a council house. Now, this is going to be a pilot scheme. There's 200 local authorities have said that they're potentially interested. It's not only building new houses, it'll be refurbishing some, but the government's argument will be that it's going to save the taxpayers money, and it's, you know, very expensive, massively unpopular to put these people in hotels. The truth is, it's massively unpopular to put them anywhere because people are furious that they are here at a time where people are struggling with the cost of living. And I'm just...
Before you get into those comments, just to set out the framework of this, 200 councils said to be keen, but at the moment there are 5 areas, right, that want to take part in this pilot scheme at a cost of 100 million quid. And there's Brighton and Hove, Hackney in London, Peterborough, Thanet, and they're all Labour-run council areas, plus Powys in Wales, Labour and Liberal Democrat area, and we'll be joined by a Reform UK councillor from Powys in the next hour. But Catherine, over to you about some feedback there from GB News viewers.
Yes, unfortunately, this is glitching, so I can't find the exact comment, but John, I think it was, messaged in to say that... social housing has been, he says, in crisis for most of his life. He said he and his family had to leave Putney 28 years ago because there simply wasn't any social housing for them. His son was in a hostel, eventually tried to move home, and he's saying, look, I paid into the system for 55 years, and to see people breaking into the country and then going to the top of the queue, it just absolutely enrages him, and I think that's how a lot of people will feel.
Nigel Nelson, let's bring you in now. Just a couple of other points I got from the GB News website. Simon Goodman, GB News member, says this is just utter wickedness. June Small, another GB News member, it's a slap in the face of the people who have been on the housing lists for years. It's utterly disgusting. It'd be cheaper to send them back. Jenny Pugh, another GB News member, this is an insult to all of our kids who won't be able to afford to buy a home and all the families that are on the waiting lists for years. And she basically says this is proof that they don't have any intention of stopping illegals coming to the country. In fact, this will be nothing but an encouragement. And Dan Jones just rounds up by saying we're going to need to build something, a mega prison, to lock up all of the traitor MPs once we have a pro-Britain government. Very, very strong sentiments. Honestly, I think this has got people outraged, perhaps one of the in the most biggest amounts of any story of the entire year.
But you do need to put this into context. That first of all, we're giving private companies who are making huge profits out of migrants, they're getting £15 billion. We're talking about a £100 million scheme, a fraction of that, as a pilot to try and deal with migrants elsewhere. They've got to go somewhere. The other point about the social housing thing is these are not houses that people would have got if the scheme didn't exist. The reason well, because they're being built specially for it. So what's going to happen is
build them specially for the 1.33 million Brits who are already on waiting lists.
Right, which is what is happening.
Which is before those people.
Home building is going at is due to go at the rate of 300,000 new homes a year for that very reason.
What at that rate? They'll all go to asylum seekers, or they'll all go to people who come here illegally.
Well, no, they won't, because this is a special scheme set aside. So what happens is that the councils will lease them from the Home Office who put up the money. What then happens is the councils will get these homes back for local residents as part of the housing stock.
That won't ever happen, because this will be one of the biggest magnets to asylum seekers across the entire planet. It will be the #1 piece of advertising software that they all put out. The people smugglers.
Obviously,
come to Britain. Keir Starmer will build you a new home.
Yeah, the priority is to stop the asylum seekers coming across the channel.
This won't do that.
I agree with that. No, it's not. We're trying to house the 31,000 people who are stuck in hotels at the moment. We're trying to find a place to put them that somebody might, disagree with less. No one wants them in hotels. No one wants them in army camps nearby. Where do you put the people we've got here?
Tented encampment sites. They do it in many other countries. They do it in Germany.
Prisons take a long time to build, so that isn't really a goer. If you start building prison camps, that I think is what you would suggest.
Containment and processing centres. Well, contain, process, deport.
I mean, in fact,
that would soon slow down people coming over the channel.
Well, we don't contain them because they haven't done anything wrong until their asylum.
A lot of people think they've done something wrong
until their asylum claim is refused. At that point, they go to a deportation centre and then they're removed from the country.
Catherine Forster, a lot of people will be looking at this and just think, you know, in a year where a lot of people have been scratching their heads and wondering whose priorities has this government most got at heart? We've seen time and time again a feeling, a sentiment, a very real one, that British people feel that this government is on the side of asylum seekers, this government is on the side of people who come to this country as immigrants, both of the above. And at the back of the queue, We did a story yesterday about 900,000 foreign-born people in social housing in Britain. In some boroughs of London, it's 75% of all social housing is going to people born overseas. We've already got a social housing crisis. We've already got it fueled by people coming from overseas. This will just make matters worse. They can build as many houses as they want. They'll be filled with people coming in on the next dinghy.
Well, housing is a massive problem, and of course they've said they're going to build 1.5 million new homes. They are way off their 300,000 a year target at the moment, and I was literally just looking while I was off air at a map of London, and it said 47.6% of all social housing in London is occupied by immigrants. Those are figures from the Office of National Statistics in 2021. And what you said about people feeling that the government is not prioritising British people is something that I've certainly heard out and about. I heard it in Runcorn, which was a solid Labour seat, and of course went to Reform. A man said to me, and it really stuck with me, Labour are not for people like us. And when I said, what do you mean people like us? He said, who are they for? He said, people from other countries. I think the debacle with Alaa Abdel Fattah is another example of that. He was held up as this sort of amazing activist, and now it turns out he's anti-white, anti-Jew. He's all these horrific things that he said. Actually, some of the Arabic tweets that have been translated talking about slitting people's throats, talking about murdering journalists. And so Labour were traditionally the party of the working classes, and I think many of the working classes feel that that is not the Labour Party as things stand, and of course many of them going to Reform.
And it's worth just pointing out a few more stats there. 19.2% of all social housing in England and Wales is now occupied by those born overseas. Only 55% of those people are in employment, so 45% unemployed. It's something like 76% of all Somalians are in social housing in Britain. These aren't racist facts, they're just facts. Now, if you can't deal with that, you can't deal with the truth. It rises to 47.6% of all social housing in London. As I said, in some boroughs, it's as high as 74.3%. That's in Southall Green West. That's a suburb of West London, and 53.5% of people there are on the dole. It's a scandal. And I'll put it to you, if we're building more and more houses for people coming here on dinghies, it will just be the biggest magnet on the planet. This will never, ever stop. Now to another story now. Somebody who might find themselves actually getting one of those houses is Shamima Begum. Yeah, she's back in the news. The jihadi bride, Shamima Begum. We thought this one was done and dusted, but no, it's New Year's Eve. It's coming back to haunt us. A breaking story today. Our friends at the European Convention of Human Rights, ECHR, are demanding that the British government outline their position on how they reached the choice to basically annul Shamima Begum's British citizenship, which of course is keeping her in Syria. But now they want that to change. Shamima Begum might be the next person coming back to Britain. And I'm joined now by my next guest, great friend of the show. Happy New Year to you. It's the human rights lawyer, David. Hey, David, looking dapper as ever. When don't you? Thank you for joining us on the show today. I hope you had a cracking festive period. And I think for the first time this year, David, we may disagree on this story, because you think that Shamima Begum should come back. You think she is a British problem.
Yeah, I don't want to cause outrage and upset on New Year's Eve to all your listeners and viewers, but I think at the end of the day, Shamima Begum, she was born a Brit. She has had a British passport, and I think we need to deal with our own problems. To put it bluntly, I think that's and we'll come on to the ECHR in a minute. So I think first of all, I think our government was wrong in removing a passport. I don't think a politician, a political office, should have the ability to do that to anyone, else we could end up with a slippery slope. We could see Nigel Farage, having his passport removed under a, God forbid, a Jeremy Corbyn government. No one wants that situation. So you are going to get situations as unpalatable as this. As a British person, I don't want her back in the country, as many other people do. But as a human rights lawyer, I don't think she should have her nationality cancelled. I don't think it should be an ability of a politician to do that in the first place. That's the first point. point. I think the second point, which is a really interesting one, which I think we might agree on, Martin, is what jurisdiction here does the ECHR have? Because if she is no longer technically a Brit, she's no longer technically held in a jurisdiction of a country under the ECHR, then what actual remit does the ECHR have? And I think what we're seeing quite a lot of, because I'm actually about to do it with the ECHR, I'm about to try and use the ECHR against Dubai in relation to a Russian citizen called Shamima Begum, because I think, the ECHR has so much moved its jurisdiction. So the fact that we could do that with a Russian in Dubai, and like I said, a chap called Shamil, shows how far they've come.
Okay, but the point is, to me, is this: it's one of sovereignty. If a British government makes a decision, like you may disagree with it, a lot of people may disagree with it, I happen to agree with it, and many people watching the show will. If a British government, a British foreign minister, a British prime minister, whoever may be, makes a decision that somebody who left Britain with the sole intent of eviscerating the United Kingdom, of joining a death cult, an Islamic death cult that wishes all to be vaporised and replaced by a new jihadist uprising, if a British prime minister takes that decision, then that is a choice for a British prime minister. Strasbourg pokes a nose in. Once again, it shows we're not a sovereign country. We're meant to be a sovereign country. We should tell them to go and take a long walk off a short pier.
Well, I agree with you. I think, and that's the thing when I spoke about jurisdiction and my attempt soon to get the ECHR into Dubai, because if the ECHR has jurisdiction in this case over Shamima Begum, then we are not sovereign in relation to that decision, full stop. So the ECHR are still in charge. And that's the first hurdle, because lawyers are going to have to argue if there has been a sovereign decision to remove her nationality. I don't think we should have done, but if we have done, and that's sovereign and it's decided, then technically that case is no longer part of the remit under the jurisdiction of the ECHR. If it isn't, then the sovereignty is still there for the ECHR and not for Keir Starmer.
David Hare, there's also a key point about a deterrent. We hear often that Shamima Begum was groomed when she was younger. That's often given as a choice, but we don't hear that, for example, if people are under the age of 18 who happen to go far right. We never have any sympathy for them. But my point is this: if Shamima Begum is allowed back to Britain, she'll almost certainly be a burden upon the taxpayer until her death. It won't ever be safe enough for her to work. It won't be safe enough for her to live in accommodation that isn't protected. If she ever gets out of prison, I suspect if she ever did come back, she'd spend a long, long time rotting in jail. But that would still be at the expense of the British taxpayer. Isn't it not a deterrent to say, if you go and join ISIS, if you go and join a terrorist organisation that wants to wipe us off the face of the earth, then stay abroad. You lost your right to a British passport the minute you join this death squad. Rot in Syria.
Yeah, I agree with you on a lot of things you say, and but my base point is that our problems, we need to deal with them and we need to pay for them. Perhaps it will make us as a country consider more carefully who we give nationality to, how easy it is, and make that, we need to look at who we're giving nationality to, who we're letting in the country. That's something we need to do more. And this is a lesson, I think, for everybody. And I think, I think she should be brought back here. She should be tried here. And if that means she has a life sentence, she has a life sentence. And we, the British taxpayer, will have to fund that. That's a hard lesson for us as well. We need to be careful about, the situations we put ourselves in, the people that we bring our country into. And I think, I think opening the door where a politician at the end of the day can make a decision, particularly when we're getting very, very divisive politics at the moment, when obviously we're going to end up with minority parties, I think, in the future with a little bit more say than they would have in the past, let's say. We all are expecting a reform government next time, but there may be some minority parties that can do deals. We see it across the country in corners. If we're giving minority figures the ability to decide who can and can't come in. If a politician upsets someone, they could say it's a national security issue. We saw Nigel Farage having his bank account cancelled. Next, it could be his passport.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, but look, you've been a great contributor all year, David. You're simply too nice to fall out with. I'll save that for Nigel Nelson back here in the studio. David Hay, I wish you a prosperous and a happy new year. Thanks for all you've done for the channel this year. You're a magnificent contributor. Your work is excellent. Hope to see more of you in 2020. 26. Now, quickly, a Home Office spokesperson has told GB News the government will always protect the UK and its citizens, and that is why Shamima Begum, who posed a national security threat, had her British citizenship revoked and is unable to return to the UK. We will robustly defend any decision made to protect our national security. Quick reaction from the panel here. Catherine Force, a lot of people just think that, you know, she made, like I said, she made the decision to join ISIS, stay in Syria. Regret at your leisure.
Well, yes. And also, she's costing the British taxpayer quite a lot of money because by the beginning of last year, we, the government, had already forked out £250,000 for her many legal challenges within Britain. And Sajid Javid, who was the Home Secretary who removed her citizenship, said there's a lot of things that he knows. And I went to one of the Shamima Begum appeals. A lot of it was held behind closed doors. There's a lot of information that the powers that be have that we don't have. And he had said, if you know what I know, you will understand why she should never be allowed back.
OK, Catherine Forster, stick with us because I want to get to our next story now. Nigel Farage has used his New Year message to attack the Labour Party and the Conservatives and said Reform UK are the only party offering hope and change. And Mr Farage criticised both parties for their treatment of the controversial activist Alaa Abd El Fattah.
If we go on voting for the same old parties, I promise you, nothing will change. Think, just in the last few days, of the El Fattah case. Here's a guy that's come out of Egypt, come back to Britain, who's put out just the most abominable, hateful tweets about killing Jews, killing white people, fighting the police. And this man was given citizenship by the Conservative Party and welcomed back into Britain by the Labour Party. Frankly, there is little to choose between the two. We're the people offering hope. We're the people offering change. And 2025 showed you, with those county elections, which we won comfortably, what we are capable of. As we look forward to 2026, we have a massive set of elections. The whole of Scotland, the whole of Wales, all 32 London boroughs, county elections, thousands of council seats all over the country. And yet what are we now seeing? We're seeing a Labour government saying to those councils, if you want to cancel the elections, in some cases for the second year in a row, you can do so.
A beautifully shot there. That's in Greenwich. That's where the Maritime Museum is. They're looking out over the city of London. Now, Nigel Farage, he featured, as you'd expect, prominently in the Liberal Democrat leader Ed Davey's New Year message. The fascination with Mr Farage seems to continue. Ed Davey promised to take the fight to the Reform leader.
Protecting our environment, fixing the NHS and social care, these are our battles. As well as standing up to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, taking the fight to Nigel Farage and winning. And we can win again in 2026 in Scotland, Wales and across England to stop Trump's America becoming Farage's Britain and change our country for the better. So from all of us at the Liberal Democrats, I hope you have a happy and hopeful new year. Let's make it a good one.
Appeared to be shot on an iPhone on the balcony at Parliament. Meanwhile, Scotland's First Minister John Swinney quoted Robbie Burns as he urged the people to be kind to each other.
Our public services, our charities and community groups, volunteers, families and friends, we are all here for each other. The holidays are the perfect time to reach out to those around us, to ring up an old friend or check on a neighbour. As Robert Burns said, to tack a cup of kindness, so that we all come a little closer together. These are the things that make an area into a community. These are the things that make Scotland, Scotland.
Well, there'll be all to play for in May in the Holyrood elections. Let's see who wins north of the border. Now, don't forget to join us from 10 o'clock this evening for our very special New Year's Eve coverage with Bev Turner, Ben Leo, Alex Armstrong, Miriam Case and Darren Grimes ringing in the new year with us here on GB News live exclusively from 10 p.m. all the way through until midnight. Coming up next, first it was pubs who banned Labour Party MPs, and now they've got the chop from hairdressers. They've been hammered by the budget. I'll be joined by a salon owner from my hometown, Nottingham. Next, this is GB News Britain's News Channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point.
Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. It's almost 4:30 on New Year's Eve. You're with me, Martin Daubney, here on GB News. Now, hairdressers, they're the next lot to be banning Labour Party MP from their salons over what they're calling a business rates betrayal. Now, this comes, of course, after boozers, after pub owners. They also took a stand against the government after promised tax relief for small businesses completely fell short. Well, Colette Osborne is the owner of Haven in Nottingham, and she joins me now. Colette, welcome to the show. I understand you've got salons, I believe, in Beeston and in Gedling. I was born in Gedling. I'm a Gedling lad myself. Yes, I was born on Loudon Road. It's overlooking the pit. So it's wonderful to see.
That's amazing. I was going to say, hey up my duck, how are you? Hope you've had an amazing Christmas. I hope your 2026 is going to be better than ours. So no, I love that you're in Gedling because we're in Gedling and you know, we're here in memory of my mum who lost to cancer. So, you know, our house salons in memory of her. So, you know, we're a massive, you know, of advocate for community and, you know, we've lived around here for 30 odd years. So if ever you're home, Martin, you come in and see us.
I absolutely will. Is the Phoenix pub still there? My dad used to drink in the Phoenix. He used to disappear there every Sunday lunch and come back sort of 4 hours later. I digress. Let's get back to your stance, Colette Osborne, because you've joined pub landlords and you said that Labour Party MPs aren't welcome at either of your two salons. What forced you into doing that?
Because we've tried everything with them, Martin, and they seem to have lost their hearing somewhat. They don't value our sector. As far as they're concerned, we just do not matter. They don't listen. We've tried having MPs in the chair. We've tried writing. We've got hundreds of salons writing to them. We've done protests in Parliament. You know, I've even met Rachel Reeves myself, who made various promises and didn't come through on anything. So what's made us do this? well, how else are they going to listen? We're desperate. The industry's at the point where it cannot go any further. Just like hospitality, you know, we were, and everybody thinks that, you know, they don't like to talk about the COVID days, but we're all still sitting on £184 million worth of COVID debt that nobody can service. That's underwritten by the taxpayer, Martin. So, you know, consider that. If they don't actually do something to save salons, they're going to have to pick up a £184 million bill. So it's really important to start to listen.
Now, Colette, what's interesting, you've got two salons, and the parliamentarian for Broxtowe, that's your Beeston area again. I know Beeston well. I used to live in Towton. I used to go through there, have a few jars on the way home. Juliet Campbell, she's your MP for Broxtowe. That's a relatively safe Labour seat. Michael Payne, he's the MP for Gedling. People on that's a safe Labour seat. Juliet Campbell, it's down to be swinging to Reform in the next election. These are all seats that Reform UK could be taking, Colette. So you'd think they might be trying to listen to you, right?
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? And do you know what? I don't think Juliet Campbell could find the salon if she tried. Michael, however, has been incredibly supportive, but equally, even it's fallen on deaf ears for him. He's a member of the Public Accounts Committee, so we've had it into the Public Accounts Committee, we've had it into the Small Business Strategy Committee, we've had a parliamentary debate on this. They just do not want to listen to the small business, to the underdog, to the people who are actually working day and night, people who really do care, you know, to try and kind of, you know, grow our local economies. And it's just like they just want to put their foot on our heads and keep pressing down. So, yeah, I'd like to, as I said, they're not welcome. I'll talk to Michael outside, but he's not stepping foot in there. And Juliet, well, I'm actually get it programmed under sat-nav because she's not answered an email yet.
Colette, you should be a politician, by the way. I think
I might run for politics, actually. I might actually run for a party because, to be honest, Martin, as you know, we're all grafters in Nottingham, and the only way to get a job done is to bloody do it yourself. I put it this way, I ran for Parliament now that have more business experience in the Cabinet than any of them. I've been in business 30 odd years.
Well, I'm telling you what, I'm saying Colette for Parliament. I'm saying, Colette, get a soapbox outside your salons there in Beeston and in Gedling and start shouting from the rafters. Because I put it to you, at the moment we seem to have a political class that just don't understand the real world, and they certainly don't understand business. Perhaps it's because none of them have real jobs, Colette.
I think you're quite right there, Martin. And the key thing is, look, you know, we've got a left-leaning, well, apparently left-leaning Labour government that are bringing out an employment rights bill that's going to change employment and get people back to work. Really? Make work pay? Don't think it does somehow. One of my employees rang me the other day and said she's better off on benefits. This is what we're facing. And, you know, we've done a CBI report, and I spoke to one of my colleagues the other day, and it's estimated that employment is going to plummet 97% by the end of this Parliament. How many jobs is that? You know, we had over 310,000 working in the sector. In fact, I'll go even further, Martin. Even government don't know how many people are working in our sector because we've not got regulation. So the public are at risk. We've got criminal gangs taking over high streets. You know, we've got apprentices, 70% gone. You know, no apprentices by 2027. So really, I think government, if they don't start to listen to the normal working class people, we're going to have a Labour government that are out before anything. Actually, I'll go even further than that. I felt really miserable after the Truss and Kwarteng budget. The last two budgets for me, I've never felt pain like it. Never felt pain like it. We've got salon owners in hospital having suspected heart attacks. We've got people considering the worst options possible because they don't know where to go. And you know what? MPs, I'll say it to you loud and clear, all you're interested in is votes. Well, do you know what? You're looking at your New Year votes. Right now, you're looking for lobbying the public to vote for you. Give us a reason. Give us a reason to actually put a cross on your piece of paper, because right now, the only piece of paper you're getting from me, Chancellor, is a P45.
Oh, come on, give a round of applause in the studio here. That's absolutely magnificent. Colette Osborne, you deserve a drink after all that. It's New Year's Eve. Are you staying local or going in town, love?
Do you know what? I'll be really honest with you, Martin. After this, I'm not going out because I can't. I've got to go back to work because we're working all over Christmas. I don't think people realise just how desperate the situation is. I will be spending the night tonight on the phone to salon owners, crying down the phone, saying they've discovered their business rates. They've seen their national employment employers' rises. They know damn well they can't meet these costs. And you know what? We've even been excluded by government The first female chancellor has failed the highest female-dominated sector. Rachel, please get that round your head. First female chancellor, you've failed me as a female. You've failed female-dominated sector, the highest level, 86%. And do you know what? You've even excluded us from industrial strategy. We've told you we can get people back to work. We've told you we can grow our local economies. We're vital to our high streets. Take us off our high streets. And do you know what? You'll have nothing left. Nothing left, because we've been on the footfall. Sorry, Martin, I've got to get tin out now.
No, Colette Osborne, I could listen to you all day, but I've been told off for the last 3 minutes. I've got to go to the news, but you're too good to cut you off. Colette Osborne, you're magnificent. Let's get you back on the show again. And I think a career in politics beckons. And try and have a drink tonight, Don. I think you deserve it. Thank you very much.
I'll have one for you, Martin. How's that? I'll have one for you. And have a very happy New Year. And thank you to GB News for actually backing small business. Because do you know what? Perhaps you should be in politics, Martin. Because at least you listen to it. And do you know what? No wonder why you're the #1 channel, because you actually tell the truth. And that's what we're trying to do.
Oh, my God, and you weren't even paid to say that. Colette Osborne, the owner of Haven in Nottingham. Beautiful. God, I love Nottingham people. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. Try and have a good drink out. We're way over the story now. In response to this, a Labour Party source has told GB News the government is backing high street businesses across the country, including hairdressers and salons. And that's why the Chancellor announced a support package worth £4.3 billion at the budget last month. There's loads more still to come between now and 5 p.m. In 5 p.m, we'll be going to Bangkok for the fireworks, but in just a few moments' time, I'll be joined by a farmer who successfully fought the government to water down its inheritance tax proposals this year. But first, we're a bit late, but here's your headlines with Sam Francis.
Very good afternoon, 4:38. The top stories. A nurse injured in yesterday's hospital attack in Merseyside says she was nearly beaten to death and lucky to be alive. 28-year-old Meg Lynch was struck with a metal bar at Newton Hospital. Police say a 20-year-old Afghan man has been detained under the Mental Health Act. All 6 victims are now in a stable condition. Eurostar services have returned to normal after chaos in the Channel Tunnel left tens of thousands stranded. All services are planned, but passengers are being warned of delays and last-minute cancellations after a power fault and a broken-down train. More than 500 new ambulances are being rolled out across England in what the NHS calls its biggest fleet upgrade in years. The £75 million investment includes upgraded navigation and safety systems. Health Secretary Wes Streeting says it will speed up response times. The Queen has paid tribute to racing commentator John Hunt and his daughter Amy, whose family were murdered in a domestic attack last year. Speaking to Radio 4, Queen Camilla said their loved ones would be so proud, also revealing she was attacked on a train as a teenager, shaping her views on domestic abuse. Live pictures from Taiwan, where there has been a significant welcome to the new year with dramatic fireworks. Meanwhile, in Beijing, a countdown and drum performance. It follows a spectacular display in Sydney, though celebrations were tempered by sadness after the Bondi Beach attack earlier this month. Back here in the UK, the Met Office says it will be cold but mostly dry for fireworks, with strong winds expected in Scotland. Those are your headlines and a brief weather update. I'll be back with you in half an hour.
For all the latest from GB News whilst you're on the go, get the GB News app. Scan the QR code now to download or visit gbnews.com/app.
Hello again, I'm here with your GB News weather update coming to you from the Met Office. As we head into the new year, we have strengthening winds in the north and plenty of showers pushing through, some of them turning to snow. Meanwhile, further south, it's a fine end to the year. That's because we still have the influence of high pressure to the northwest of the UK, albeit that influence is retreating away. So through the rest of New Year's Eve, across central southern parts of England and Wales, staying fine, perhaps some early frost as we go through the evening and the start of the night in some southern parts, and some fog and freezing fog reforming. A different story further north, however. As we head towards midnight, we're going to continue to see plenty of showers pushing in, strong winds. We're talking gusts of 60 to 70 miles per hour for Orkney and Shetland and the far north of Scotland, and showers also feeding into parts of Northern Ireland and Northern England too, some of them falling as snow, mainly over the hills and mountains of Scotland. For central southern England and Wales, it's staying largely fine as we head into the new year, but cloud will be feeding its way southwards. The winds will be picking up, and so temperatures actually in the south will be picking up a little bit. And so for many, by the time we wake up on New Year's Day, well, it's going to be a few degrees above freezing in many places. As we go through New Year's Day itself, there is a band of outbreaks of rain, maybe something a bit wintry pushing across parts of Northern Ireland and central southern parts of England and Wales, but the greater risk of seeing some fairly frequent snow showers will be across parts of Scotland, particularly towards the north. We're likely to see some snow building up, even some icy patches. For all, though, it is going to be a cold feeling day. There'll be some brisk winds around, and that will make it feel pretty chilly indeed, despite the fact that there'll be quite a bit of sunshine around. A similar story as we go through the end of the day. Plenty of showers piling in from the north, and these will continue as we go through the end of the week and into the weekend. So it really does look like it's going to be quite wintry for those exposed to that northerly wind.
Thank you to our global community for watching and listening to GB News. We're not only the #1 news channel in Britain, we're chosen by you around the world.
Good afternoon, this is the latest AI travel news from GBNews.com. Take care on the A9 Daubney Bridge, where high winds are making driving conditions tricky. On the A1 northbound near Newcastle, between the A69 and the A696, a crash has closed 2 of 3 lanes, with delays of around 10 minutes. Traffic should ease after 5 this evening. On the M4 westbound between Junction 10 and Junction 11, an accident is restricting 1 lane and conditions should improve after 5 this evening. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has major engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton or Rugby, while Cross Country reports disruption in Cambridge and between Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Welcome back. Time is 4:43 on New Year's Eve. You're with me, Martin Daubney. Now, don't forget to join us from 10 p.m. this evening for our very special New Year's Eve coverage. And you got the superstars Bev Turner, Ben Leo, Alex Armstrong, Miriam Case and Darren Grimes ring in the new year with us live on GB News from 10 p.m. Be there or be square. Time now for the Great British Giveaway and your chance to win our biggest cash prize of the year, an astonishing 85 grand in tax-free moolah. That's like having 2026 on us, your buddies at GB News. Here's how you can make it yours.
It's the greatest cash prize of the Great British Giveaway so far. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like, making 2026 your greatest year to date. That could get you that brand new car, extend and improve your home, take you away on that bucket list holiday, or just give you some peace of mind over the coming months. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Now, after months of protest, the government has announced it will raise the inheritance tax relief threshold for farmers from £1 million to £2.5 million per individual. Now, the new threshold, set to take effect in April, it will allow up to £5 million in agricultural business assets to be passed on without paying inheritance tax. But is this enough to help family farms be saved from the chop? Well, I'm joined now in the studio by the founder of the Farming Forum, the magnificent Clive Bailey. Clive, it's an absolute pleasure to see you in the studio once again. Few have fought as hard as of you and your colleagues, Ollie Harrison, of course, Martin Williams and others. There was something of a minor miracle at Christmas. After all that fighting, there was some blessed relief. That inheritance tax relief was raised for farmers.
Yeah, that was great news, Martin, and I think that's going to be very helpful for a lot of smaller farmers, which I'm sure will have had a much better and peaceful Christmas off the back of that and taken a lot of worry away from them. But let's not make any mistake here. It doesn't really go far enough. 80% of food production in this country is produced by 20% of the farms. And those farms, you know, to be economic, they need to be of a scale which will often involve far more than that £2.5 or even that £5 million of capital investment. So there's still a huge amount of farmers still really worried about how, when the time comes, how they're going to pay this tax. Along with that, they still did nothing to address the issue for our elderly farmers and sick farmers that, you know, in some cases are refusing kind of treatment, life-saving treatment, because they still have this absolute perverse incentive to not survive past April 2026. And Keir Starmer, in front of Alistair Carmichael before Christmas, acknowledged that he was aware of this issue, but they haven't gone that bit further and done something about that. So really, I'd like to see something done to help them as well. It's a humane thing to do. Let these people plan with dignity. You know, we need to do something like that 7-year holdover condition at the moment, maybe shorten that for a short amount of time, just to let those people plan. And then maybe we're getting towards a working solution at last.
Now, despite all of that, over 6,000 farms, forestry businesses and fishing businesses closed in this past year. And I wanted to end on a high note, because your son, Henry, of course, became something of a star of the show, because very early on he put a question to the Prime Minister. He said he was fearful of following in your footsteps. But I do believe now, in fact, he told us on this show that he is now of the family way, wants to carry on in the farming business. Are you happy about that?
Yeah, do you know, actually, if there's some positives out of this, I think it's made Henry more interested in following that. Yeah. I mean, and all you want to do as a father, like my parents did before me, and I'm sure my grandfather as well, we don't see farms in monetary terms. You don't own a farm. You kind of just look after it for the next generation. So, you know, having been faced with having to sell that, so at least now Henry has the option. You know, I'm not going to push him any particular way, but he's actually a lot more enthusiastic and more interested in farming than perhaps he was before this happened. So, yeah, there is some good news there, perhaps.
OK, we have to leave it there, Clive. You know, you come a long way for a very short hit, but Colette Osborne, our hair salon owner in Nottingham, we just couldn't stop her talking. I didn't want to. She was excellent. Clive Bailey, thanks for coming down. Prosperous and Happy New Year. Love to you.
Thanks,
and all
Martin.
your magnificent
Happy New Year to you,
you keep going, my son. Superb to have you in the studio. Now, we've got some live pictures now. We can bring you pictures from central London. There's just over 7 hours to go now until the UK season 2026. You can see there Big Ben, the whole area ring-fenced off. It's like a prison camp out there. Clive Bailey couldn't park his car this side of the river. It took me an hour to get into London. And Primrose Hill, as you can see there, one of the vantage points, the suburb of North London, normally 30,000 people cram into there. It's completely closed this year. City can't decide to close it down. You've got to pay up to 190 quid for a ticket. Bar humbug on New Year's Eve. We'll be there next.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
It appears seem to need more time to do that.
They definitely do. I mean, you know, I think this country is becoming so ageist, it's not true. You know, we're all being taxed, and when you think of the years and years we've all paid taxes, and, you know, now they're having another go at us. They're taxing our pensions and everything that we might have saved for that rainy day. Certainly, when crossing a road, it is, if you are, I mean, I've got a bad knee, you've got a bad knee over there. You know, we have problems. You have a few problems, Eamon.
About everything.
Yeah, but, you know, when you get across the road, you're frightened. I'm frightened of falling, because I think that's one of the major things of old people. They're terrified. I've had 2 friends in the last fortnight fall very badly and in hospital, and and then you suddenly get this beep 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 on a crossing, and you panic a bit, and the cars are coming, and bicycles are suddenly there. You know, it's all.
Are people generally not very patient then? Because if there's an old lady or an old man crossing the road in front of me, I'd always stop.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And if you're in a wheelchair, they probably run you over more. I mean, you know, it's a terrible situation.
I mean,
People...
it's not so much pedestrian crossings, right? It's the ones where it's lights. And when Christopher quite right says about the beep, 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 is so you have, and suddenly it says 10 seconds, 9 seconds.
The countdown's stressful.
Yeah.
And can imagine it would be stressful
It
for
is
elderly people.
trying to, yes, I have to, trying to drag my leg across the road.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
Oh, no, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. Your time is 4:52. I'm Martin Daubney. This is GB News on New Year's Eve. Now, just hours away now from the big moment as thousands gather in London tonight for the capital's fireworks display to celebrate New Year's Eve. And GB News national reporter Will Godley is in Hampstead Heath for us there. Will, you've got a superb vantage point looking over the city of London. Of course, Primrose Hill has been closed off this year by Sadiq Khan, so that one's been denied. But you're there on Hampstead Heath. Tell us about the atmosphere.
Yeah, Martin, we're here on Hampstead Heath, a little bit further out than Primrose Hill, but many people thought to be coming here to watch the fireworks, and some people here now a little bit early for the fireworks, but not planning on sticking around, are the Canadians here, my brand new friends. What are your plans for New Year's?
I'm just working at the pub, yeah. Hopefully it's fun.
Oh, you and me working both, but what about you lot? What are you up to?
We're all going to a party in Holloway with new friends, hopefully, but yeah, gonna be just experiencing kind of the British New Year's Eve, but yeah.
Amazing. And what have been your highlights of 2025?
I'd say, I don't know, coming to the UK to reconnect with friends and stuff has been really awesome, so.
And what about plans for 2026? What are you looking forward to, Kira?
Some more travel, I'd say, yeah. Hopefully to explore some new countries.
And what about you, Willem?
Getting really set up here in the UK and finding kind of my footing in a career other than working at a pub for now, but yeah.
And this is your first New Year's in London. What are some of the traditions in Canada that you're going to bring over?
Oh, I'm not actually from Canada, I'm from Australia. It's warm in Australia, so we're swimming and having a good time outside, yeah. So.
And what about you?
Oh, I mean, with something we can relate to, I guess across the pond is drinking a lot. But yeah, I don't know, hanging out with friends, meeting new people, that's like kind of my priority moving in, but yeah.
And the London fireworks, something you're looking forward to this evening?
I didn't even know they were happening, but I'm excited now,
yeah.
I guess.
Well, they certainly are happening. They'll be happening here at the clock striking midnight tonight. We're going to have a great vantage point from here, Martin.
Thank you, Will Godley there live from London. Will Godley, thank you very, very much indeed. Let's get back to studio here. Nigel Nelson. What's striking me here, that London is full of Canadians, it's full of Americans, it's full of foreign tourists who are paying up to 190 quid for a ticket. And meanwhile, people like me who pay council tax, I'm having to climb over fences to get in. I put it to you that fireworks in London should be free.
Well, I think they should. I mean, and certainly they were. Obviously, as a council taxpayer, you just have to pay more council tax to have your fireworks. But if you're happy to do that, that's fine. But yes, I think that for a display like that, for New Year's Eve, for the hope of a great 2026, then free fireworks is the answer.
There's more ring fencing of security out here. There's more high-vis vests. There's more clipboards than I saw during the Black Lives Matter marches.
Yeah, I've no idea why we're being hemmed in, because there's so much fencing here. It takes a while to even get to the studio. I don't think the Russians have invaded, but I still haven't worked out why we need all these defences.
Isn't it amazing how we can build barriers around Primrose Hill to stop Londoners watching fireworks? Isn't it amazing how we can build barriers all around London to stop Londoners getting in, but we can't build a barrier around the country to keep our borders safe? There you go, even squeezing a bit of immigration till the end of the hour. Now, stick with us, because up next we're going to Thailand. Bangkok has got the fireworks. That's the next country to see in the New Year's Eve. We're the only place to watch it. Stick with us here on GB News all the way through to midnight and beyond.
Thank you, Britain, for helping us reach 10 million followers across social media. We are truly honoured to have your trust, one follower at a time.
Good afternoon. This is the latest AI travel news from GBNews.com. The M8 is restricted eastbound near Junction 3A after reports of animals close to the carriageway, so expect slower speeds. On the M4 westbound between Junction 10 and Junction 11, a road traffic collision has shut one of 4 lanes, with normal conditions expected between 5:15 and 5:30 this evening. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has major engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton, or Rugby, while Cross Country reports engineering work in the Cambridge area and disruption between Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
This is your chance to become our biggest cash prize winner to date. £85,000 in totally tax-free cash could be making its way from our bank account to yours. It would be like having over £7,000 per month extra to play with, each month for a whole year. That could be you, safe in the knowledge that 2026 is on us. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
I'm Michelle Dewberry, this is Jubes & Co with you.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie is here to GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Very, very good afternoon to you. It's 5 p.m. Only hours now to go until New Year's Eve breaks in the United Kingdom. Welcome to the Martin Daubney Show here on GB News, broadcasting for you live across the UK. Live shots for you now from Bangkok. Bangkok in Thailand is the next place to see in New Year's Eve. Just a few moments' time, ringing in 2026 with a countdown to fireworks, and that's over the department store. If you've been to Bangkok, you'll know the icon Siam by the Chao Phraya River there. The department store is one of the tallest blocks on the entire skyline in Bangkok. And as we saw earlier with Taiwan, it will be festooned with fireworks. It'll be beaming out from all angles. We're also expecting a huge LED display across the banks of lights there. Bangkok City, of course, is skewered with skyscrapers, the tallest of them, the department store icon Siam by the banks of the river there. It'll be ringing in New Year's any moment now, following in the footsteps of Taiwan and also Beijing and also Hong Kong. That was 1 hour ago. 5 p.m. local time here in the United Kingdom, midnight in Bangkok. We're just moments away now to take a little listen in to the countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! เมตตาปกเกล้าชาวไทย
เสริมพระเมตตาปกเกล้าชาวไทยเสริมพีไทยปัง
Spirit of Siam United
พลังแผ่นดินใต้ฟ้าสยามเหอเหอก้งหลง
Legacy of devotion and glory of prosperity
มรดกแห่งพระมหากรุณาธิคุณแผ่รัศมีแห่งความรุ่งเรืองนิรันดร์ช่างคุยหยงชิ่ง
Light of reverence
แสงแห่งความจงรักภักดีหมินซินเจ้าเต๋อ
Ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year to everyone here.
สวัสดีปีใหม่ทุกท่านนะคะ祝大家新年快乐身体健康平平安安新年快乐
Yes, please.
I've got to say, that was magnificent. Those
Just what's
the fireworks there in Bangkok, Thailand. Of course, the New Year just been seen in Bangkok. Absolutely magnificent. The fireworks going off along the river there, and also on the tower block, the department store, the iconic department store, the icon Siam by the Chao Phraya River there. Bangkok, of course, a magnificent city. It's huge modernity and also ancient Buddha statues. That truly was magnificent. Catherine Forster's recently been to Bangkok, just saying she thinks that's one of the best fireworks display, alongside Sydney and London. Bangkok there fighting for the top spot. That was simply sensational. Don't forget, we'll be crossing to London later on to see what the view is from Hampstead Heath as we count down towards the big moment in London. But before all of that, here's our own best firework in the box. Here's your headlines with Sam Francis.
Very good evening to you from the newsroom at 5:05. The top story: a nurse injured in yesterday's attack at a Merseyside hospital has said she was nearly beaten to death and is lucky to be alive. 28-year-old Meg Lynch says she was struck from behind with a metal bar at Newton Community Hospital. She suffered head injuries that required CT scans and stitches. Police have said a 20-year-old Afghan man was arrested at the scene after being refused an appointment and has since been detained under the Mental Health Act. Merseyside police say 6 people were injured but are in a stable condition, with high visibility patrols continuing while inquiries and forensic work remain ongoing. The government has been accused of embarrassing failures of due diligence over the case of British-Egyptian activist Alaa Abd El Fattah. In a letter to the Foreign Secretary, Yvette Cooper, the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Emily Thornberry, said ministers could have avoided problems by appointing a promised envoy for complex detention cases. It comes amid controversy over historic social media posts by Mr Abd El Fattah, with some MPs calling for his British citizenship to be stripped. But campaigners, including Richard Radcliffe, whose wife Nazanin was previously detained in Iran, say human rights must apply even when views are controversial. Eurostar services through the Channel Tunnel have returned to normal today after a major disruption ahead of New Year's Eve. Thousands of passengers were delayed on Tuesday after an overhead power fault and a broken down Le Shuttle train blocked routes between the UK and between France. Most services from London St Pancras International are now running, though Eurostar is warning of possible knock-on delays and last-minute cancellations. Passengers affected by the disruption are being offered enhanced compensation. More than 500 new ambulances are being rolled out across England in what the NHS says is its biggest fleet upgrade in years. £75 million of investment includes modernisation of navigation systems and enhanced safety equipment to help crews work faster and more safely. The Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, says the vehicles will improve patient comfort and help ambulances turn around more quickly.
£75 million this year, over £400 million over the next 4 years to make sure we've got a modern, effective fleet that provides safety for patients, efficiency and comfort for the crew.
The Queen has been praised for speaking publicly about being attacked on a train as a teenager, with campaigners saying it sends a powerful message to survivors. Speaking on the Radio 4 programme Today, Queen Camilla recalled feeling angry and furious after the assault in a radio broadcast discussing violence against women and girls. The UK's Special Envoy for Women and Girls, Harriet Harman, said the Queen speaking out was so important in changing attitudes that excuse abuse. In Cardiff, a start-up is one step closer to making materials in space, with a factory the size of a microwave now orbiting the Earth. Spaceforge is testing a mini manufacturing lab designed to produce ultra-pure semiconductors in zero gravity. Engineers say they've successfully fired up a furnace inside the satellite, reaching 1,000 degrees Celsius, hot enough to make high-grade electronic components. The company believes space could deliver cleaner and more powerful chips. Tech chips, that is, not the other kind. Britain is listening more than ever, with more than 210 million albums bought or streamed in the UK over the past year. Figures show consumption is up nearly 5%, driven by streaming, vinyl and a British music revival. The biggest album of the year was Taylor Swift's The Life of the Showgirl, while UK stars including Olivia Dean and Lola Young broke records both here at home and abroad. Weirdest noises in my head you wouldn't believe. Those are the latest headlines. I'll be back with you shortly.
Take the GB News family with you on any device. As long as you have an internet connection, tune into GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond.
Thank you, Sam. Now to the government's latest plan to supposedly solve the migrant crisis. And it's this. Asylum seekers are to be housed in freshly built, completely free council homes as part of the push to end the use of migrant hotels. Now, up to 200 local authorities are said to be keen on the scheme, and 5 are already applying for a pilot. Now, a reminder that last year, 1.33 million Brits were on a waiting list for social housing in England alone, and that's the highest number since 2014. Well, I'm joined in the studio by GB News' chief political correspondent, Catherine Forster, and also by our senior political commentator, Nigel Nelson. Welcome to the show, both of you. Catherine Forster, I'm going to start with you. I honestly think on New Year's Eve, this is the late contender for the most boneheaded political idea of the year. Just when you think you've heard them all, the notion that if you come to Britain on a dinghy, if you come here as an illegal immigrant, if you come here having never paid a single dime, single penny into the British pot in your entire life, the notion that 200 councils, that you should be given a free council house and pushing Brits to the back of the queue, I think is the most dunderheaded idea of the year.
Well, certainly, I think a lot of people are going to think it sounds incredibly unfair. The government would say it's only going to be a pilot scheme at the moment. There's 5 councils that have said they definitely want to do it: Brighton and Hove, Peterborough, Thanet, etc. The government's argument is that it's going to save money because rather than putting people in hotels or private rented accommodation, they can, yes, build council houses or refurbish them. But, of course, we've got 1.3 million British people waiting on social housing lists, who I think many of them will feel that for someone to break into the country, having crossed from France, another safe country, and then go straight to the top of the list for dental treatment, NHS housing, is deeply unfair. And some of the comments have said this. But the problem is these people have got to go somewhere, and what the government need to do is stop the boats. But for all the smash the gang, stop the boats that we hear from this government and the last one, nothing seems to be working out at the moment.
Nigel Nelson, on New Year's Eve, this has gone down like a firework, a rocket up the backside. Let's be absolutely honest. The notion that you can come to Britain on a dinghy and be given a free council house is... The political class are living on a different planet.
The political class have got to house these people somewhere, as Catherine's just said. And no one likes the hotels they were put in. No one likes the army bases that they're about to be transferred to. Anybody who lives anywhere near a migrant doesn't like it. When it comes down to people missing out on social housing because of this, they won't. The reason people have missed out on social housing is because of Margaret Thatcher's right to buy scheme. So last year, 8 times more social housing was sold than actually built.
Nigel, I think you're on the same planet as these councillors. Look, if you're spending 100 million quid, suddenly that's been found from nowhere down the back of the sofa in Downing Street, I don't know, suddenly got 100 million quid to convert old housing or build brand spanking new housing, how is that not going to mean that Brits are at the back of the queue?
Well, because they were never in the queue for these houses.
They're already in the queue.
And what you're doing here with 100 million is you're saving an awful lot of money. At the moment, we're having to pay private companies who make huge profits out of migrants by sticking them in hotels, by sticking them with private landlords. This would be a cheaper and better way to do it. At the end of the day, you've got to put them somewhere. And this is only a pilot. We'll see how it works. But this might be an answer to some of the other problems.
OK, let's bring in our next guest now. It's the political commentator, Benedict Spence. Benedict, in advance of New Year, a very, very happy New Year to you. Thanks for all your contributions on the channel this year. You've been a magnificent guest as a regular on the channel. What planet are these politicians on?
Well, wherever it is, it's so far away that even Elon Musk isn't planning to get there anytime soon. It's a completely farcical situation. But, of course, why should we expect it to be anything other than a farcical situation? We were promised by this government when it came in 18 months or so ago that they were going to have a more grown-up approach to doing things, that they were going to solve this problem. It was, of course, the headline issue that affected the Conservatives more than anything else, and Labour said that they'd get a grip on it. They have shown throughout that they don't really have much of an idea of how to do this. And the bizarre thing of all of this is if you start putting people into housing that is needed for vulnerable people, especially council housing, it's actually a worse solution than the hotel situation. At the very least with the hotels, you had lots of people all in one place. But if you start putting them in council houses and you start dotting them here, there and everywhere all around the country, then you're not able to keep track of them in the same way as you were before. So not only are you taking the housing away from people who are already in this country and already need it, you're also putting migrants who potentially need to be kept check on in more disparate situations that you can't necessarily keep a track on. That's a bad idea, and all we have to say about this ultimately is that we are slowly stumbling towards a position where one day we will realize actually something more fundamental has to be done about the sheer numbers of people coming into the country. It is going to involve much harsher measures about deporting people, about how long they can stay here whilst their applications are processed. We will get to that point at some stage, but for the time being, our political elite are dragging their heels because they don't want to accept that that is the natural direction of travel.
OK, thank you for joining us, Benedict Spence. Honestly, our readers, our viewers and listeners are completely aghast at this notion. Let's get a quick bit of reaction in the studio from Nigel. No, we've had Nigel Nelson. Is my next guest ready to go? I'd like to join my next guest, and that's Claire Johnson-Wood, who's a Reform Councillor on Powys County Council. Claire Johnson-Wood, thank you for joining us. The reason I was keen to get you on today, Claire, is because you're in one of the 5 areas that are on this pilot scheme, along with Brighton and Hove, Hackney, Peterborough and Thanet. They're all run by the Labour Party, Labour Councils, sorry. And your area, Powys, is a Labour and Lib Dem control area. How are your voters telling you, how are you reacting to the fact that suddenly, out of nowhere, in central Wales, they're going to build a whole stack of brand spanking new shiny houses and simply giving them away to asylum seekers?
Martin, can I just say thank you so much for having me on your show tonight? I really appreciate it. I agree with everything that you've just said. People are absolutely amazed how we've got a waiting list of over nearly 4,000 people, 3,700 on our social housing list in Powys. These people have been waiting, some of them up to 1,000 days, nearly 3 years for housing. How would you feel if somebody just came in and was gone straight to the top of the list and given that house? People are dismayed with this. And, you know, residents in my ward that I've spoken to just cannot believe what's happening.
And Claire, I'll put it to you, if you look at Glasgow has been inundated with asylum seekers. In fact, Glasgow is now the asylum seeker capital of Europe because the law in Glasgow says if you can prove that you're homeless or facing homelessness as an asylum seeker, you're automatically stuck straight to the top of the queue. I put it to you, Claire Johnson-Wood, not only is this a nightmare for your residents in terms of the existing asylum seekers, but people will flock from all over the country and turn up on your doorstep and demand a new house.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about our local people that are veterans, that are disabled, that have pensioners, veterans, British citizens that actually need this housing? And why should we give housing to people that have just come into this country straight away as abhorrent and offer them housing when they don't pay anything into the system, they haven't worked, they can't work, and they're just taking everything? And what about the infrastructure? Powys is a very, very rural county. We haven't got a general hospital in Powys. The schools are closing left, right and centre under the current cabinet in Powys. We haven't got, GP appointments, dentist appointments. How are we going to support that? We have not got the infrastructure.
Claire, was anybody in Powys consulted on this? Was anybody ever asked in the broader electorate? Was anybody given a voice, given a veto, given any vote or opportunity to do this? Or was it simply presented to you as a fait accompli by a virtue-signalling political class who just made their minds up, that's it, you're getting it, like it or lump it?
It came to cabinet and to council and it was debated. But it went through that Powys would, have an interest in doing this.
But it was never put to the people. It was never put to the electorate. No. Nobody's ever had a say in your wards or constituencies.
No. Correct me if I'm wrong, but no.
So what's happening here is a political class, polishing their halos. They decided it's a great thing to do. We're going to do this in your area, in Powys. We're going to do it in Brighton. We're going to do it in Hackney, in Peterborough, in Thanet. And I put it to you that this should be the top thing on any political party's leaflets, on their agenda. You've got elections coming in May, right? People in your area might have something to say about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, they have. I've had people contact me in my ward today and yesterday when this kind of story really broke. But another thing, it's again like the Sanctuary of Asylum.
Yeah.
With Wales being a Sanctuary of Asylum. The crux of it all is we've got to stop these people coming in. We need to look after our own. We need to house our veterans. We need to house our pensioners. We need to house our, young people that haven't got housing. We need to look after our own and just stop that. We've got to get to the bottom of the run of the ladder before we can start doing this. But it's absolutely ridiculous.
I'll tell you what, you know, Claire Johnson Wood, if I'm a people smuggler now, I'm going to be making a new leaflet, a new video. Come to Powys. The Labour Authority
we'll give you
will give you a new house. Come to sunny Brighton. You'll get a new home. I mean, seriously, do you ever like stop and think to yourself, is this government looking after the citizens of Britain, or is it more actually putting the rights of those who are coming to the country illegally first?
I think it's all about the people that are coming into the country first. They're not looking at a UK government, and I know Wales is a devolved nation, but a UK government should be looking after their own people first. And a reform UK government would put the people of Britain first.
OK, Claire Johnson, we'll be happy to leave it there. Thanks for joining us on New Year's Eve. Another time.
Thank you so much for having me, and Happy New Year to you all.
And to you, Diane. Take care. As a Reform Council there on Powys County Council. Nigel Nelson, quick reaction to you. You can see that the local councillors, they're spitting fans. And I put it to you that when this goes to the electorate in May, they're going to get a good hiding over this.
Well, I mean, these are people who are elected to make decisions, and they've made a decision. The problem, I think, with what Claire's just said, and in fact what you've just been saying, you've been complaining about what is actually going on, but nobody's coming up with a solution. What is the alternative?
Containment camps. Well, contain, process, deport. Well, it's very straightforward.
Well, it might be straightforward to you, but it's not straightforward within the law.
To our political class, who haven't got the balls to do it.
No,
that's the point.
It is practically dealing with migrants and what you do. We're in agreement that we must stop the boats coming across the channel. That's the priority. But in the meantime, we've got a lot of people in hotels. We've moved them into army camps where people are protesting, like in Crowborough. They've got to go somewhere. This is a cheaper option and probably better than lining the pockets of private companies.
I put it to you, it's going to be political kryptonite. It's going to be absolutely the most prominent thing on any political party's leaflets at those elections in May. Vote Labour and get a free house to asylum seeker. Vote Liberal Democrat, the same. And we know that the Green Party are open borders. It's going to be a huge, huge political story. I'm being told we have to move on. Nigel, superb. Catherine, superb. We've got some free booze coming into the studio for New Year's Eve in about 15 minutes' time. Now, don't forget to join us from 10 p.m. tonight for our very, very special exclusive New Year's Eve coverage party with Ben Turner, Ben Leo, Alex Armstrong, Miriam Cates and Darren Grimes. What a box of fireworks that is. Ring in the new year with us live here only on GB News. Now it's time now for the Great British Giveaway. We're feeling generous. It's your chance to win our biggest cash prize of the year, an astonishing 85 grand in tax-free moolah. Here's how you could bag it.
It's the big one. Your chance to win a whopping £85,000 in tax-free cash. The largest cash prize we've given away to date. That's like over £7,000 a month extra in your bank account each month for 12 whole months. That's a year of yes. Yes to holidays. Yes to treats. Yes to shopping trips. Yes to home improvements. What would you say yes to? For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Now, this is the biggest night of the year for pubs, but how many of them will still be open in 12 months' time after the Labour Party hiked up their business rates? We can bring you live pictures now from central London. Of course, there is now only less than 7 hours to go until the UK season 2026. Don't go anywhere. I'll be joined by the Weatherspoons legend, Sir Tim Martin, next here on GB News, Britain's #1 news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Bo. They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What we're going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Welcome back. It's 5:28 with me, Martin Daubney, here on GB News. Now, live pictures from central London now. As you can see on your screens, there is Big Ben. There is the London Eye, the fireworks course at midnight. Less than 7 hours to go now until the UK season 2026. Ring fenced off. Sadiq Khan decides to charge people 190 quid to get in here. I'm not particularly happy about it, but look, bar humbug. Less than 7 hours to go as people get ready for those fireworks. And, of course, pubs are one of the most important parts of British culture, and certainly New Year's Eve. And as people get ready to ring in the new year, pubs across the country, they're gearing up for one of their busiest nights of the year. But the celebrations come with a warning this year as venues face an extra £32,000 in business rates over the next 3 years, raising fears of closures. Well, one man who knows the pub industry better than anybody else is a favourite of the channel. I'm now delighted to be joined on New Year's Eve by the CEO of Weatherspoons, Sir Tim Martin. Sir Tim, thank you so much for taking time to speak to us on New Year's Eve, the busiest night of your year. Tell us about how tough 2025 has been. The news came out today, Sir Tim. One pub every single day closed this year.
Well, I think it's been going on for years and actually decades, because for historic reasons, pubs have been regarded as the only source of beer and other alcoholic drinks. But for many years, people have been able to buy them at supermarkets. So the story of the last 25 years is that pubs have lost 50% of their beer volume to supermarkets. And there's a crazy system whereby pubs pay far higher taxes than supermarkets. So we pay 20% VAT on food, and supermarkets pay nothing on food, and we pay about 25p of business rates per pint, and supermarkets pay around 2 pence. So as well as having much higher wages. So it's a crazy system which benefits supermarkets at the expense of pubs. Supermarkets do a great job for their customers, and we're not criticising them, but we should be taxed the same. We should have equality with supermarkets. Until we have equality, pubs will continue to reduce their share of the market, unfortunately, and will become like other countries. A lot of other countries, you can go out for a beer at a bar, but it's a small part of the culture. Whereas in the UK, the pub was the melting pot in towns, villages, city centres throughout the land. So we risk losing that and have lost quite a bit of it already.
So, Tim, against that backdrop of long-term erosion of the industry, of course, we've seen an acceleration, certainly since COVID, and definitely in this past 16 or so months since the Labour Party came into power, a lot of landlords telling about the extortionate cost of national insurance for staff, the minimum wage hike. When you've got a lot of staff like yourself, you've got a lot of staff, a big head count, that's a big hike. The workers' rights bills, and even like the ban to police, landlords having to monitor what people say on their premises with the ridiculous threat of prosecution if they don't monitor the workplace. So, Tim, have you ever known a more difficult time for publicans than now?
Well, I don't like to take one party side or the other. I've been a heavy critic of Conservative governments as well, and their policies towards pubs. They were happy enough for pubs to pay VAT on food when supermarkets didn't. But yeah, this particular government has certainly not made it easier, and there's been a massive increase in costs. Our costs last April increased by £1.2 million a week as a result of the budget earlier in the year, and this budget is whacked on quite a bit more. So it's very difficult and serious for the pub world. We're keeping our head above water. We're doing okay because we're so extraordinarily talented, Martin, as you'll be aware. And not everyone can match us, but seriously, it's difficult for pubs generally.
And so, Tim, just give us a flavour of, and we know that Christmas time is so important to publicans. Give us an idea of just how important New Year's Eve is to landlords across the country.
Well, traditionally, it was the #1 night of the year. A few decades ago, for reasons I don't understand, Christmas Eve took over, and now it's probably matched by the Mad Friday type celebrations. Easter's very big, but it's a very big night on the calendar, and there'll be particular types of pubs for whom it's critical if they're near, I don't know, Hyde Park, where there are celebrations going on or whatever it might be. So yeah, vitally important night. Hope everyone goes out and has a good few pints.
Yeah, well, I'll be doing my bit to make sure pubs stay afloat this year, that's for sure. So, Tim Martin, thank you for joining us today on the very busy night of New Year's Eve. Thanks for all the work you do. You've been superb this year. Keep on going. To Tim Martin, the Weatherspoons legend, thank you very much, and thanks for all you do. Now, plenty more to come throughout the rest of the show, but for now, if you're travelling home from work or for this New Year's Eve, please stay safe. And here's your traffic and your travel update, and please stick with us.
Good afternoon. This is the latest AI travel news from GBNews.com. Take care on the A9 Daubney Bridge due to high winds. In Greater Manchester, the A627M northbound is slow between Junction 3 and the A664 at Rochdale, with 10 minutes of congestion. On the M6 northbound, the exit slip at Junction 10 near Walsall is queuing. In Norfolk, a collision on the A11 southbound between the A134 at Thetford West and the A1101 has one lane closed, with 10-minute delays. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton or Rugby, while Cross Country reports engineering work in the Cambridge area and disruption between Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Very good evening to you on this New Year's Eve. The top story, a nurse injured in yesterday's hospital attack in Merseyside says she was nearly beaten to death and lucky to be alive. 28-year-old Meg Lynch was struck with a metal bar at Newton Community Hospital. Police say a 20-year-old Afghan man has been detained under the Mental Health Act. All 6 victims are now in a stable condition. Eurostar services have returned to normal after chaos in the Channel Tunnel left tens of thousands stranded. All services are planned today, but passengers are still being warned of delays and last-minute cancellations. That's after a power fault and a broken-down train. More than 500 new ambulances are being rolled out across England in what the NHS calls its biggest fleet upgrade in years. The £75 million investment includes upgraded navigation and safety systems. The Health Secretary Wes Streeting says it will speed up response times and improve patient care. The Queen has paid tribute to racing commentator John Hunt and his daughter Amy, whose family were murdered in a domestic attack last year. Speaking on Radio 4, Queen Camilla said their loved ones would be so proud, and also revealed she was attacked on a train as a teenager, shaping her views on domestic abuse. And New Year's Eve revellers are being urged to wrap up warm as cold temperatures are set to greet celebrations across the UK tonight. The Met Office says conditions will be mostly dry for fireworks, but with biting winds and temperatures hovering just above freezing in London. Further north, Scotland faces gusty winds and wintry showers with snow and gale force winds forecast as 2026 begins. Those are the half-past headlines. I'll have a full roundup with the news at 6.
For all the latest from GB News whilst you're on the go, get the GB News app. Scan the QR code now to download or visit gbnews.com/app.
Hello again, I'm here with your GB News weather update coming to you from the Met Office. As we head into the new year, we have strengthening winds in the north and plenty of showers pushing through, some of them turning to snow. Meanwhile, further south, it's a fine end to the year. That's because we still have the influence of high pressure to the northwest of the UK, albeit that influence is retreating away. So through the rest of New Year's Eve, across central southern parts of England and Wales, staying fine, perhaps some early frost as we go through the evening and the start of the night in some southern parts, and some fog and freezing fog reforming. A different story further north, however. As we head towards midnight, we're going to continue to see plenty of showers pushing in, strong winds. We're talking gusts of 60 to 70 miles per hour for Orkney and Shetland and the far north of Scotland, and showers also feeding into parts of Northern Ireland and Northern England too, some of them falling as snow, mainly over the hills and mountains of Scotland. For central southern England and Wales, it's staying largely fine as we head into the new year, but cloud will be feeding its way southwards. The winds will be picking up, and so temperatures actually in the south will be picking up a little bit. And so for many, by the time we wake up on New Year's Day, well, it's going to be a few degrees above freezing in many places. As we go through New Year's Day itself, there is a band of outbreaks of rain, maybe something a bit wintry, pushing across parts of Northern Ireland and central southern parts of England and Wales, but the greater risk of seeing some fairly frequent snow showers will be across parts of Scotland, particularly towards the north. We're likely to see some snow building up, even some icy patches. For all, though, it is going to be a cold feeling day. There'll be some brisk winds around, and that will make it feel pretty chilly indeed, despite the fact that there'll be quite a bit of sunshine around. A similar story as we go through the end of the day. Plenty of showers piling in from the north, and these will continue as we go through the end of the week and into the weekend. So it really does look like it's going to be quite wintry for those exposed to that northerly wind.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Right, it's 20 to 6. Now we've got pictures for you live from central London. Less than 7 hours to go now until the UK sees in 2026 there. You can see the skyscape of Big Ben and the London Eye. The fireworks go off, and I say I've been moaning the entire show. There's a ring of steel around London. You've got to charge up to 190 quid to get and see these fireworks. I think they should be free. Bar humbug. Never mind me. Don't forget to join us for our very own fireworks display from 10 p.m. tonight. Our special New Year's Eve coverage with Bev, Turner, Ben, Leo, Alex Armstrong, Miriam Cates and Darren Grimes. What a firecracker of set that will be. Ringing the new year with us here on GB News, exclusively live from 10 p.m. Now to our next story, a big story this week. Anthony Joshua's family say he's shaken deeply after two of the boxer's close friends died, of course, in a fatal car crash in Nigeria. The former heavyweight champion was also injured in the collision and remains in hospital for observation. Well, joining us now from Lagos is the senior global reporter at the Mail, Nick Pisa. Nick, welcome to the show. Thank you for this update. The big story now is how injured is Anthony Joshua? There's a huge amount of speculation. Will he box again anytime soon? What's the latest?
Good evening to you, Martin, and to your viewers. Well, I've spoken with people close to Anthony Joshua, and they were quick to dispel rumours that have been circulating that he had a broken leg. That has now been categorically dismissed. He doesn't have a broken leg. And perhaps if you cast your mind back to the pictures following that quite incredible car crash on Monday, you could see him walking away. So the fact that there was this rumour was circulating obviously didn't have any background to it or any backbone to it at all. I have been to the hospital where he is being treated. Obviously, patient confidentiality. The hospital authorities are keeping things very close to their chest there. But I can tell you that he is said to be in a stable condition and is recovering well. He has his parents by his bedside. But whether he can box again, that's a very good question, Martin, because psychologically, emotionally, to be sat in a car where two of your closest friends, one of the men was his trainer and one of them was his conditioning coach, fitness coach, to see them pass away in front of your very eyes, it will have, I should imagine, a tremendous effect on him mentally. He was due to box in February in Saudi Arabia, and then of course there was this talk of this massive fight against Tyson Fury later on next year in September. £100 million purse was being discussed, but who knows whether any of those fights will go ahead now.
And, you know, Nick, when we were on the show with you the other day, when you're on your way to Nigeria there to cover this story, we were talking in real time just how close the death Anthony Joshua came, literally inches. I mean, the entire side of the vehicle that he wasn't on was completely obliterated. And if he'd have been in a different seat, if he'd have been the other side, he'd be dead, Nick.
Absolutely, yes, you're correct there, Martin, because the car, I've actually, to let you know, I've been to see the truck today in a police compound that Anthony Joshua's Lexus struck. And as you say, he was sat in the back seat and behind the driver, and his two friends were in the passenger seat and one next to him. The car suffered a blowout and was also travelling at speed, and it clipped this truck that was carrying soybeans to the side of the road, and it basically sheared off that side of the car completely. The two friends that he was with were killed instantly. And the police were very quickly on the scene, and you saw Anthony, you're looking at the pictures now, Anthony Joshua being ushered away quite gingerly. I understand, as we said earlier, he is okay and in a stable condition. But you may be interested to know, Martin, I've driven down that road this afternoon and this morning, the expressway that links Lagos to Aberdeen. I have to tell you, the condition of the road is absolutely phenomenal. It is fantastic. I didn't see one pothole or anything, but the driving discipline was absolutely crazy. The speed limit for that road is 100 kilometers per hour. I was being undertaken by people travelling way over that amount. People were crossing the road, running across the road. This is a 3-lane major highway. Absolutely incredible. The cars and the trucks that were passing me were completely overloaded with, I saw one truck with a load of mattresses and other goods that were being transported. Cars were far too packed with occupants, with people in them. As I say, the lane discipline, the motorway driving is just absolutely unbelievable, really. But I can also tell you that the driver of the truck that was parked illegally on the side of the highway there, he is apparently on the run, and the police tell me that they are actively searching for him. And I can also tell you that the driver of the Lexus that was driving Anthony Joshua has been discharged from hospital and is now giving a statement to the police. And they've told me that they will decide in the next 2-3 days whether they will charge him with possibly reckless driving, because they are also saying that the car suffered a blowout and that it was also travelling at excess speed as well when it tried to carry out an overtaking manoeuvre.
Well, Nick Peter, a fantastic and comprehensive update, eyewitness account there. Thank you very much for joining us, and thanks for all your reporting. I'm being on the show this year. You've been an excellent guest. Nick Peter, very happy New Year to you. Hope to see more of you in 2026. Thank you very much indeed. Now, moving on, people across the UK are set to kick off the new year alcohol-free. Well, some are, I'm not, as Dry January continues to grow in popularity. But before tomorrow's challenge begins, what drinks will you be enjoying at midnight tonight? Well, we'll have a little tipple in the studio now. We've been waiting for this all day. Joining me now for a tipple is the owner of Distinct Distillers, Hannah Boone. Hannah, welcome to the show. Thank you very, very much for coming to see us. And you come bearing gifts. It's your magnificent produce. Tell us all about it, especially this special rum which backs our army veterans.
Absolutely. So we've got we've brought a number of products with us today. So we're predominantly a rum producer, and that's where we started off. So we produce British rum from scratch, but we also produce a number of other spirits as well. And we've got army background and heritage on our site. So our site used to be an old World War II fuel depot. So we've got these vast underground tanks that used to store aviation fuel.
Wow.
And that's now where we age our casks. So we've got that military link, and hence why we've got a military range of products. So we have a D-Day rum, we've got a VE-Day gin, and we work closely with a charity, the Taxi Charity for Military Veterans.
We have them on GB News often. They're a magnificent bunch of lads.
They really are. They're fantastic. All volunteer-led, and what they do with the veterans is just brilliant. So we donate £2 for every bottle we sell to them. We've also had them up at the distillery as well, the D-Day veterans. So
beautiful.
They
Great.
came up and we laid down casks for them.
Great stuff. Now let's have some booze. So this is your rum, and I think that over there you've got a gin and tonic.
Gin and tonic earlier.
Let's give that to Catherine Forster.
Thank
Catherine,
you
have that.
very much.
Nigel Nelson will be doing Dry January. For every month is Dry January for Nigel. There we go. He is a teetotaler. Tell us about this rum. Go on.
So this rum, it's made from molasses, so fermented from scratch.
That's beautiful.
And then once it's distilled, it's aged in sherry and bourbon oak chips. So Josh, our distiller, is that what you do with your rum? He ages this in sherry and bourbon oak chips, so you get quite complex flavour. So you've got caramel and vanilla and toffee from the bourbon oak, and then you've got a bit of fruitiness from the sherry as well.
And on the label there, it's got Union Flag 1944 D-Day British rum. Tell us about the gin. Catherine, have a swig. What's it like?
I can say it's absolutely delicious, and I think that the packaging is really beautiful.
Oh, thank you very much.
No, it is.
So the gin is distilled with juniper and coriander and lemon verbena. So it's a very delicate citrus finish, which is lovely.
Really lovely.
And we've got a great cask programme that we run as well. So we lay down our rum, and general public can invest in casks, and they're a great alternative asset.
Hannah Boone, thank you very, very much for coming all the way down here just for a short segment on the show.
My pleasure.
Absolute delight. I'll be having some more later on. It's only 15 minutes to go. Thank you very, very much. Hannah Boone there, the owner of Distinct Distillers, brewing booze in Britain, supporting our armed forces, supporting a great charity, and the taxi drivers. Go have a little swig yourself. Meanwhile, if you're in search of some holiday sun, here's a forecast from the top European destinations. Cheers.
Dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean all clear skies?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, are you heading away for the new year? Well, there is some unsettled weather, some cold weather across Europe, in fact. Storm Francis is bringing some very wet weather to the Canaries through New Year's Day and into the weekend, as well as parts of Spain and Portugal. Comparatively drier for more central areas, though it is colder than it usually is at this time of year. The good news is, though, as it turns colder for the UK, it will slowly start to warm up into next week in the east. Bye-bye.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
9:30.
It is indeed.
And as the new year approaches, we've got, for the very first time, our GB News charity calendar. It's on sale, and 100% of the product. I should point out, actually, the pictures were taken by you and voted for by you because we've got so many entries. So you've made this. 100% of the profits go to our 2025 charity partner, which is the London Taxi Drivers Charity for Children. And that actually is also proudly supported by Her Majesty the Queen. Really, really lovely.
But look, I'm just going to take... There's a... Oh, hold on a sec. There we go. Look, how lovely are those pictures?
It's really nice. It's what is most important is the fact that, as we say, 100% of the money is going to charity. If you pick one up at the GB News shop online, and the chairman of the Taxi Drivers Charity for London is Anthony Moore, and he's here. It's great to see you.
Good morning.
Tell us a little bit about what the charity does.
We do several events a year. We take kids to the seaside as a group of taxis. So this year we had 80 taxis transferring around about 200 children. We went to the zoo this year, and so we've done that as an event. Everybody gives up their time. The taxi drivers just give up their time, all just so that the kids can have a good time. We've got our Christmas party, or the Mad Hatters party. That's in January, and we've got now 700 and... We've had to limit the numbers this year. We've got 720 children coming at the moment.
Wow.
But they will be entertained by singers, dancers. We've got the King's Welsh Guards turning up to give them the dimensions of the dance floor. So they're coming to do, in their full regalia, they hang around, hats on children, photographs. So, you know, we do several things.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. It is now 8 minutes before the hour of 6, less than 7 hours to go till the UK season 2026. Let's get straight now to Will Godley, our reporter, who's on Hampstead Heath, had a vantage point there over London. Will Godley, what's the mood like there, looking out over London?
Well, Martin, you might be able to see the skyline behind me lit up as night has fallen here, and later on when the clock strikes midnight it'll be lit up even more. Those firework displays renowned around the world here in London. Some people already gathering here to bring in the new year, watching the firework from Hampstead Heath here. Majid, Yasmin, how are you going to stay warm for the next few hours? It's freezing.
Yeah, it's very cold.
Yeah, snacks, juice, water, chocolate.
Yeah, lots of chocolate actually.
Yeah, a lot of layers here.
And you've come down from Leicester to watch the fireworks. What are you excited for?
So we've been through we saw the fireworks 2 years ago. It was from, I think, London Bridge or something. So it was closer to the point of the origin of the fireworks.
So this time we thought maybe we will come to something higher, so we can have like a better view.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, you'll be sticking out with me as we stay here to watch the fireworks right the way through the evening here on GB News, and watching the fireworks from midnight. Many people thought to be coming here to Hampstead Heath as a popular viewpoint nearby Primrose Hill is closed this year. So thousands of people hopefully will be joining me to bring in the new year as the clock strikes midnight later on, Martin.
Thank you very much there, Will Godley. Just over 6 hours to go now until the clock strikes 12 in London. The clock strikes 6 next, and it will be Jubes & Co tonight, hosted by the magnificent Dawn Neeson. I'm off now until the new year. This is my last shift. Happy New Year to you. Thanks for all your support this year. You've been certainly the best viewers on the planet. I wish you a very, very prosperous new year. Chin chin to you, Catherine Forza. Chin chin to you, Nigel Nelson. Have a fantastic new year. Stay safe, and I'll see you in 2026.
Happy New Year, Martin. We've got a great show coming up for you, including celebrating that finally we have control of borders. Trouble is, it's borders to parks on New Year's Eve. All of that coming up very soon. You don't want to miss it.
Today, clouds overhead. Total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello again, I'm here with your GB News weather update coming to you from the Met Office. As we head into the new year, we have strengthening winds in the north and plenty of showers pushing through, some of them turning to snow. Meanwhile, further south, it's a fine end to the year. That's because we still have the influence of high pressure to the northwest of the UK, albeit that influence is retreating away. So through the rest of New Year's Eve, across central southern parts of England and Wales, staying fine, perhaps some early frost as we go through the evening and the start of the night in some southern parts, and some fog and freezing fog reforming. A different story further north, however. As we head towards midnight, we're going to continue to see plenty of showers pushing in, strong winds. We're talking gusts of 60 to 70 miles per hour for Orkney and Shetland and the far north of Scotland, and showers also feeding into parts of Northern Ireland and Northern England too, some of them falling as snow, mainly over the hills and mountains of Scotland. For central southern England and Wales, it's staying largely fine as we head into the new year, but cloud will be feeding its way southwards. The winds will be picking up, and so temperatures actually in the south will be picking up a little bit. And so for many, by the time we wake up on New Year's Day, well, it's going to be a few degrees above freezing in many places. As we go through New Year's Day itself, there is a band of outbreaks of rain, maybe something a bit wintry, pushing across parts of Northern Ireland and central southern parts of England and Wales, but the greater risk of seeing some fairly frequent snow showers will be across parts of Scotland, particularly towards the north. We're likely to see some snow building up, even some icy patches. For all, though, it is going to be a cold feeling day. There'll be some brisk winds around, and that will make it feel pretty chilly indeed, despite the fact that there'll be quite a bit of sunshine around. A similar story as we go through the end of the day. Plenty of showers piling in from the north, and these will continue as we go through the end of the week and into the weekend. So it really does look like it's going to be quite wintry for those exposed to that northerly wind.
Today, clouds overhead.
Thank you, Britain, for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go, or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
Good evening. This is the latest AI travel news from GBNews.com. Road users are urged to take care on the A9 Daubney Bridge, where high winds are making driving difficult. On the M6 northbound, a broken-down vehicle between Junction 17 and Junction 18 is blocking one of 4 lanes, so expect queues until after 5:45. On the M25 clockwise, there is also a breakdown between Junction 5 and Junction 6, with one lane closed and delays easing after 5:56. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton or Rugby, while Cross Country reports disruption around Cambridge and between Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
We want to make the new year your best year yet, with a chance to win our greatest cash prize to date. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Treat the family to that bucket list holiday you've always fancied. Get your dream car you've always wanted. Or just relax, safe in the knowledge that the coming year is on us. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT.